Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy, my friend. Let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.
Welcome to Alchemizing Energy. Once again, we are coming with that real knowledge and real truth. So today we have a special guest. His name is Zion Waring, and he is going to be discussing the Rastafarian origins of the One West Israelite movement. But before we even get into that, I got to bring you on and ask you, okay, you are known as the head smoosher. Okay. Tell me what that's about.
Well, listen, I think, debating, when I got into the Lion's Den, the people got their colorful names. You got JJ 7000, you got Mudawood, the Monkey Mugabe. You had all of these people, and everybody kind of, it's like, like the supervillains in Gotham City, you know what I'm saying, over there. So, I came up with something silly. Some people go in there and they have all of these, titles that are, like grandiose and stuff. And I didn't want to go in there like, the God, Zion, or nothing, saying ridiculous like that. But, be silly about it, since it seems silly to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start smushing people's heads in with this information. So, you know what I'm saying? So I became smoosher.
So do you mush heads or you smush heads? You
smushing them, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is that the where I got it from is from Curtis Mayfield. Yo pusher man. So I said, yo smusher man. You know what I'm saying? Is it like a little spin off of that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm your smusher man, baby.
The smusher man.
Like we said, I made up a whole bunch of different ways to say, smushinator, the head smusher, all of that silly stuff. It was all fun, because, if people go in and debate and stuff like that, but, we like to be entertained and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? So
shouts out. Well, I think you're about to smush a lot of heads with this because I have never heard that. Okay, first of all, you are a Rastafarian.
Yes.
So let's first, before we get into your presentation, tell us how you got into becoming a Rastafarian first.
Okay, so growing up in Long Island, New York, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Huntington, Hempstead, Wine Dance, you know what I mean. Babylon, Roosevelt. I keep going and on, right? But I grew up in a very diverse community, a lot of Jamaican, a lot of Caribbean, you know what I'm saying, Cuban, Puerto Rican, you know how it is in the city. And my upbringing on my father's side, you know what I'm saying, I had some conflicts. My father was into the Yoruba, you know what I'm saying, Olubata and the Yoruba religion. And on my mother's side, you know what I'm saying, she's devout, you know what I'm saying, Pentecostal Church of God Christ, Kojic, you know what I'm saying. And I just, during that time, that this was around the Daisy Age, y'all, you know what I'm saying. For some of y'all who may not know, Daisy Age is, you know what I'm saying, De La Soul and Jungle Brothers and stuff like that. It's when the Black Medallions were big and the positive hip hop was really, you know what I'm saying, was really big in that time period. I started gravitating toward, the Jamaican reggae and the Jamaican culture and stuff. I had the hip hop and stuff like that, but the reggae was starting, you know what I'm saying, really get, tie in, I was feeling it, and so, I still had to reconcile my issues with my mother's faith, which, you know, Pentecostal Church of God in Christ Holiness Church, they wasn't into the African stuff, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I saw the importance of the African culture, and I loved, you know, my experiences with my father's religion and stuff as well. And so, you know, you have those conflicts, you know, one is saying, oh, that's witchcraft, and the other one is like, you know what I'm saying, they're not even pointing that out, you know what I mean? Like, they're not,
You know the crazy part about what you're saying is, do you know
right.
that Kojic is
Mhm.
the origins of the hoodoo faith? The
Oh, I
hoodoo.
know. Did you know Bishop Mason? If you ever seen pictures of Bishop Mason, he's holding roots and all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? So the speaking in tongues and all of that stuff, I grew up with that. But the interesting thing is that when I went to Bembe's, you know, with the Lukumi and the Yoruba, with my father, you know what I'm saying, I felt the same spirit, you know, similar spirit. When you know, an Orisha would come over somebody and they would begin to speak in an African dialect, you know what I'm saying, as I did when the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost came over somebody in the church and they started speaking in tongues. You know what I'm saying? So I had this issue, you know, like I guess you could say I was conflicted in a sense. But the more I started studying more about Africa and understanding the Christian faith, the Rastafari faith stood out to me, you know, because it encompassed the African and, you know, it Afrocentricizes Christianity and shows the origins of Christianity as African. You know what I'm saying? So that's
So are you Jamaican, or are you
no.
Jamaican?
I'm from Long Island. And this is the thing. People always presumed that Rasta is Jamaican, right? Because, you know, Leonard Howell, we will get into that. But Jamaica is what made Rastafarianism popular. The culture, the reggae music and everything like that became the culture of what they call Rastafarianism. But it really started in Harlem, New York. And I'm going to show you guys that.
Wow. So Rastafarianism did not start in Jamaica.
No, it didn't.
And that actually brings much more into your presentation. The fact that
Right.
all these things were in Harlem. Even when you
Yes.
even go into the E5, let me tell you something about Oyotunji village in South Carolina, right?
Right.
The starter of Oyotunji, even though he's from Detroit, right? He was a part of that whole movement. So you had different movements. You had some people going trying to go back to Shashamani in
Yes.
Ethiopia. Then you had the Hebrew Israelites going back to Israel, and then you had the Demona, and then
Right.
you had the owner of Oyotunji that started
Right.
the thing in South Carolina. And
Right.
all these things started around the same time, like different time frames, like from the 50s, 60s.
Yep.
What can you speak about some of those things?
Okay, so you know it's interesting because you know I was looking up some of the that time period. 1920s is the Roaring 20s. It's also the time period the Harlem Renaissance. There's really renaissances going on all over America's black communities. But you know, Harlem Renaissance became very popular because of the Cotton Club and Sammy Davis Jr., you know what I'm saying, and the whole nine, you know, who happened, you know, ironically happens to be a black Jew from that area, you know. So
was he a Hebrew Israelite Jew, or was he just
he came up out of you know, when he got into the movies and stuff like that, he converted over to Orthodox, you know what I'm saying, Judaism, you know, the Ashkenazi stuff. But he grew up in the same area as now you got to remember this. In 1920s, Harlem had the largest Jewish community there was. Not and the white Jews were outnumbered by the black Jews. Just understand how deep black Judaism was going on during the Harlem Renaissance. It was serious. All right. You had the Commandment Keepers and the Moorish Hebrew Zionist movement right there on 135th, I believe it is. I have all of that stuff. And so you also had like the Yoruba, you know, saying the Lukumi community, and the Christian church community and stuff, you know, and
so that's why your family was also kind of intertwined between Kojic.
Yes. Right.
Lukumi, and
Right.
then there's the Hebrew Israelite aspect, and then in the Rastafarianism.
Right, right. And the interesting thing is, like with my grandfather, in his church, he just passed away. You know what I'm saying? God rest his soul. They put him, he his burial was yesterday. So my grandfather,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, give thanks. My grandfather, he being a bishop in the Church of God in Christ and everything. The church back in those days, the Church of God in Christ was called, it's very holy. It's not like it is today. Back in those days, women had to cover their heads and their dresses had to be all the way down to the ankles, and so they kept the law. And a lot of black church folk, they saw themselves as Israel, or spiritual Israel in that sense. And so, so it wasn't far, from, the idea of what, the Israelite movement.
So would you say that some of those things came from the Israelite movement? That they took
the
some
influences,
of those things?
probably. Yeah, I would say that the
Kojic Church, the Church of God in Christ.
Yeah, I would say. Well, I would say that I wouldn't say that like everything was taken, but because of the climate, the cultural climate at the time, and the influences of like the Black Jews, the Renaissance, and what I'm saying, the Muslim, the Nation of Islam was also what I'm saying, growing around that time. People were more focused on the law and holiness and how they kept themselves, how their women and how their family moved. So that the idea that we were Israel was always there, even amongst some of the black churches. You know what I'm saying? Oh, then you get into the Ethiopian connection and why you have the Ethiopian Baptists, Abyssinian Methodists. They were also leaning toward the African understand. This is the time period of what they call the New Negro, right? And there's books written about it with Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass. They were redefining what they called the New Negro after the Reconstruction era. You know what I'm saying? So the New Negro was redefining himself, and now we're building businesses, we're building jazz, we're making music, change of what they projected onto us. Judaism, Christianity, Islam. We're focusing our focus back upon Africa, as opposed to feeling degraded, or the degradation of being African in how the Eurocentrist ideal or the idealist model kind of tried to minimize us. And this is where it really gets important about the Ethiopia Rastafarian connection with all of this stuff too. So now I want to make sure that we clarify this. The title is it's what's the word for it? The title is shocking, right? But I'm not saying that One West came directly out. One West came in 1968. The Rastafari movement was born out of the Commandment Keepers and the Moorish Hebrew Zionists. Before there was a One West, Rastafari had the first 12 tribe chart. Rastafaris were the first people calling ourselves out loud Israel and you know what I'm saying, and saying that we are the true, you know what I'm saying, and that's primarily because of the imagery of Haile Selassie in Ethiopia during those first two Italian wars around that time. So it changed the face.
So you would say that even in America, because you know what, when I was in Washington D.C., there were a lot of Rastafarians in that U Street area. That was a huge thing, and I was always wondering, like, you're not Jamaican. I said you're Jamaican. I said you're Jamaican because they would always have the fake Jamaican accents, and they would be on the and Roz B and Roz C.
We wait no more. We hold on now with the fake thing then. Blood clot. I chat about that.
How you gonna be like talking in this patois and?
Well, listening to so much reggae music, you got to understand that reggae music is our gospel. and reggae music is in patois. You know, it's in the dialect of the. So you're gonna sing Bob Marley. You're not gonna sing it with the English accent. You're gonna sing it like Bob Marley. And after a while, you know that takes effect. You start.
So
Yeah.
it's not just faking. It's more like that you're taking on the actual dialect of the music and the actual thing that you're.
Yes, yeah. You know, it's like the IRIC and stuff like that. You know, but yeah, you know, we're not Jamaican. It's not all of us are Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? And it did not. The origins did not begin in Jamaica. It exploded and grew, and Jamaican culture is what really, you know, put.
So
that
it started in New York
seasoning.
and ended up in Jamaica, and so they were the ones that cultivated it.
Yes.
And so you would be remiss to not even understand that this actual movement came out of New York.
Right. You know, and
the
I'll
same
show
way
you.
as hip hop. The same
right.
Hip hop started from a Jamaican, this, that, the other.
Right.
Okay, well, let's get really.
Well, we got a lot of arguing about that with Busta Rhymes and everybody going back and forth about that. But that's a whole other conversation, you know. All right,
so before we start your presentation, because I'm about to bring up your presentation, we're going to start getting into it. Now, before I start, I'm going to ask you a question about FBA.
Right.
Foundational Black American. I'm going to start it off with this question. I'm going to end it with the same question. Foundational Black American now with Tariq Nasheed is saying that, you know, we are foundational Black Americans. Our history and our lineage starts from within America. And, you know, everything else is tethering from our system, right?
Yeah.
That the Caribbeans are tethering, all these other people are tethering from what we created. Do you believe that? I
believe that's some Willie Lynch crap. We're dividing ourselves. How are you in the middle of a 450-year war against Black internationally? And now, we're tethering ourselves to these people because they're brown skinned. Get out of here with that bourgeois Negro stuff. You know, yes, here's the interesting thing. How we tethering when all of the Africans that came even into North America had to pass through the Caribbean and the ports. And then they were dispersed. Correct? So even my grandfather's father, you know what I'm saying, who, you know, my grandfather just passed away. His father, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, was from the Caribbean and moved to Georgia. How many people don't even know that they have Caribbean roots because, you know, folks' families were shifted and pushed this way and that way or whatever? Does it really matter? Are we still in the same boat? Are we still fighting the same Euranthropoid? I don't think that makes sense. It ain't no time right now to start dividing and being divisive with our brothers. You know what I'm saying? Who are going, you know, like when we're caught. That's where I think we're getting a lot of this COINTELPRO stuff is happening. You know, they wanted to destabilize the Pan-African and African movement. You know what I'm saying? The Black movement. Black empowerment movement. So how do you do that? You start pitting each other against each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's just some Willie Lynch stuff that we know that. You know, I don't know. I'm a foundational Black American, and you know, forget about those Caribbeans. They don't like us over there, or you know, forget the Africans. They don't like even with the Abo situation. I have on my grandmother's side. I'm Shinnecock Native American. I'm related to ODB and them on that side. I got family members that are on the Shinnecock reservation in the Hamptons. You know what I'm saying? So how can I sit here and it is primarily African American, African and Native Americans that live there. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, but we're only from here. We're not from over there. Them Africans don't like us. Help us. You know what I'm saying?
So, and they will say that the Pan-African movement is dead. Do you believe that the Pan-African movement is dead, or do you believe that they're trying to kill it?
I believe they're just trying to stamp that out. They're trying to stamp that out. You got to remember this, right now, while Africa is beginning to nationalize its resources, right? They don't want us to have no parts of that, because now we got Black folks going back and forth to Ghana. We take that money from here and go to Ghana and live like kings.
Well, no, have you heard now that Trump has actually made like a thing to where you can't, it's what is it where they have a travel ban in Africa right now, where there's a travel ban to
Oh,
where
really?
yeah. So therefore, they're trying to go against the dual citizenship within Africa.
Oh,
So if you
yeah.
go over there, like you can't come back over here. So
And just listen, I'm going. At some point,
so
I'm going. I'm out of here.
so with all that being said, get into your presentation because
All right.
this is much needed. We need to get back into. We don't need to get rid of Pan-Africanism. We
Right.
don't need to like think that we are separate from our roots.
Right.
Even though there might be people that come from here that were already here.
Right.
I know that when I did my DNA, it came up
Yeah.
Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Okay.
care what nobody says.
Right.
That DNA is like,
Yeah, they want you. They will have to try to turn against that. No, no, we ain't no Nigerian. All right, let's
looks like
get it.
my
Let's
man
get
in
it.
Kenya. Okay, my brother
You
talking
know
like my
what
man
I'm
in
saying?
Kenya. Okay,
It's wild,
let's
yo.
get back to Pan Africa. Let's like not let these
Yeah.
psyops really destroy
Divide
us.
us.
Let's go
Divide
right
our
into
movement.
it.
Right.
Okay, let's get into your presentation.
Okay, let me see how I can
And I'm
enlarge
gonna
this
drop
here.
down as you do your presentation because this
Okay.
is about you and your knowledge and what you're bringing to the table. This is not about me. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
let's get into it. I'm going to drop down. Hold
All right,
on, let
cool.
me do it like this so you can be there, and I will remove myself. Let me know when you want me to come back up. I'll be here.
All right, cool. All right, so real quick, I had to pull this together real fast. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize. I didn't have a whole lot of time to really go to work. Y'all know I like to put like 40, 50 slides. Well, some people whoever knows me, I put long presentations together, but this is rather short. So understanding first the Ethiopian Israel connection. Biblically, black folks in the Americas and in the diaspora who were taught a white version or a white supremacist ideology of Christianity, would always have this conflict with how Ethiopia is presented throughout the scriptures, from the Ethiopian eunuch to, Moses's wife. All the time, here's Ethiopia. Well, if black folks are this, that, and we're beneath this, that, and the other, why is it that we are so prominent throughout the scriptures? You know what I'm saying? And with Israel. So this is where a lot of the idea that that we are closer to Israel than what we were taught, or what the Anthropoid doctrines were trying to push on us, right? So you got, Ethiopia's Israel shared a deep root historical bond dating back to biblical times. A key pillar of Ethiopia-Israel relationship is the Ethiopian Jewish Beta Israel community, with over 180,000 Ethiopian Jews residing in Israel today. You know what I'm saying? The Solomonic dynasty also in Ethiopia is also known as the House of Solomon, was the ruling dynasty of the Ethiopian Empire. From the 13th and 20th century, the dynasty was founded by Yukono Amlak, who overthrew the Zagwe dynasties in 1270, right? Prior to that, though, Ethiopia Christianity, Ethiopia became a Christian nation or empire. But prior to that, there was Judaism already there prior to Christianity's, being brought into to Ethiopia. So we'll move forward. Haile Selassie, and this image is so important, to black folks. We were getting bombarded with white Jesus and white Mary all the day long. You know what I'm saying? Praying to. Well, I don't care if you came from a Pentecostal church or you was in a Catholic church or whatever. You was getting bombarded with images of. We didn't have the images of black. You know what I'm saying? Christ and stuff like that back in 1911 and stuff. We weren't doing that. You understand what I'm saying? So when we saw Ethiopia's kings, even going back a little bit further to the king prior to Haile Selassie, Menelik II, you the war of the attack of Italy on Ethiopia became newsworthy, and now black folks started seeing black kings and queens, and it was like, wait, hold on, I thought we was the dregs and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah, right? But we're starting to see Italy fighting against, the oldest black Christian empire, black Israelites or black Jews, and this is like, and then win, right? So you're talking about 1895, 1893, the first Ethiopian Italian war, black folks won. Oh, do you know how powerful that imagery was to us here in the Americas, right? So now, with this idea, you had a lot of the scholars, a lot of black scholars, who had knowledge of this, and we're starting, and this was around the time of the new Negro. They were redefining themselves. So here we go, right? Here we got Marcus Garvey and another brother, Reverend James Webb. Most people think that Marcus Garvey was the one who came up with the idea of, or the quote, "Behold, the coming of a black king." As actually came from James Webb, right? Marcus Garvey, adopted a lot of the ideas. This was huge. What was going on, not just in the Caribbean, but in the Americas, the Negro universal king, right? So perhaps to some people confuse Garvey's ideas with those of Reverend James Webb, who in 1924, right, 1920s, pronounced the coming of a redeeming black king in a speech delivered in Liberty Hall. Charles Price, Becoming Rasta Origins, the Rastafarian Identity in Jamaica, right? Here also, Marcus Garvey, we see a new Ethiopia, a new Africa, stretching her hands of influence throughout the world, teaching man the way of life and peace, the way of God, right? So here we are redefining how we look even at the Bible, right? Black nationalism and the Italian-Ethiopian conflict. This is important. This is what really began, pushing the narrative toward black Israelism, black, chosen people. The black identity is changing now in this time. The black nationalism and the Italian determined to win Ethiopia's long coveted but elusive place in the sun, along with the great imperial powers of Europe, and finally avenge her humiliating defeat suffered at Adwa in 1896. That's Italy right there, who lost, right? The fascist government of Benito Mussolini launched in October 1935 a brutal invasion in Ethiopia to establish a modern Roman Empire in that independent African state. The only there was only two places at that time that were not colonized in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Ethiopia and one other place, I believe, on the West Coast. I can't remember the name off top, right? So here we go. In the open defiance of international law and world opinion, the Italian High Command used indiscriminately all of its modern weaponry, including poison gas, upon a virtual defenseless peasant society. Despite the blatancy and brutality of Italian aggression, the Western powers, guided by self-interest, refused to impose more than the mildest economic sanctions against Italy, leaving the country with virtually a free hand in Abyssinian highlands. So now they're just allowing, the Italians or the Romans to come in and take over, this last Christian empire, who also was at that time a part of the League of Nations. They had a treaty called the Hore Treaty. That treaty was broken when they did nothing for Haile Selassie or for Ethiopia, right? So we'll jump down here a little bit. Notwithstanding the trepid response of the great powers to the fascist invasion of the African kingdom, Italian imperialism in Ethiopia provoked an outburst of international concern, sympathy, and in some instances, vehement protest from the general public. Private citizens and world over denounced Italy's violation of the Ethiopian sovereignty, describing the incursion as a deliberate act of war and plunder, which the civilized world abhorred, right? Yeah, right. It was reported from Geneva that international peace groups, labor unions, and religious bodies had soundly condemned Italian imperialism and the colonized peoples of color in India, Africa, and the Middle East. And in America were demanding justice for both Ethiopia and themselves. So, although universal in scope, public condemnation of Italian aggression was particularly sharp among blacks in the United States, who had long drawn inspiration from the classical and modern Ethiopia as a symbol of black power and pride, right? Favorable mention in classic mythologies of the Ethiopian kingdoms, along with the Upper Nile, the tribute paid to them by the ancient historians as the progenitors of the Egyptian civilization, and the notable success of the Abyssinians in repelling European colonialism, right? At the close of the 19th century made Ethiopia revered symbol of racial accomplishment for us. This was extremely serious for us. It was like, oh, we're winning here. At least over there, they haven't touched them. You know what I'm saying? They weren't able to win. So here they come back again and then get their butts kicked, right? Positive references to Ethiopia in the scriptures and in the black sermons further enhanced the country's image among Afro-Americans, informed by their ministers that the Ethiopia of the Bible was a Negro nation. So we understand that with the indoctrination of Western Christianity, you know what I'm saying, on us here, the very thing that was like the healing bomb, right? The healing bomb was Ethiopia's presence in the Bible, and then to see it in the newspapers winning against a European colonial powers. Arnold Josiah Ford. So this is very important here, right? This is the establishment of the Black Jews of Harlem, right? The commandment keepers. Arnold Josiah Ford, 16. So he was one of the largest organizations, Jewish Black organizations in Harlem, and I'm sure his movement was probably a lot larger than just in Harlem. Spiritual leader recognized as pioneering figure in the Black Hebrew movement. Cut that out, hold on. So here, dang it. Talented and a linguist, poet, musician, and composer of many Universal Negro Improvement Association and African community leagues. Look, here, the Negro Universal Negro Improvement Association was not at odds with the Black Jews.
Wait, so he looks just like Noble Drew Ali.
It's interesting because the Noble Drew Ali's Moors, I believe they came after the Moorish Hebrew Zionists.
Wow, because I'm like, dude, it looks like the same, like head wrap,
right?
the same,
Right, yeah. So the Mitri crown. We see a lot of our Israelite brothers still wear that today, right? You know what I'm saying? Ford officially functioned as director of the UNIA Band Orchestra, Band of the African Legion, and Liberty Hall Choir. Published the Universal Ethiopian Hymnal in 1920. Harlem Renaissance, y'all. Following Garvey's arrest and conviction, Ford founded the Beth B'nai Israel Synagogue in Harlem, storefront, and declared himself to be a rabbi. He was never recognized as such by the wider Jewish community. In 1930, he and a small group of Black Jews went to Ethiopia, where they participated in the coronation of Haile Selassie, and they created a school and acquired 800 acres of land, all right, purporting of uniting Black Jews, supporting United Black Jews of the diaspora with their brothers already in Ethiopia. He died in Ethiopia in 1935.
So was this Shashamani?
This is before Shashamani. Shashamani, with the land grant, came around. But now, the interesting thing would be to find out whether that was the same place that they had this land, you know, whether they took that Haile Selassie took the 80 acres that they had bought and purchased and made that the land grant. That's an interesting question, sis. You know, I need to do a little bit more research. I should talk to my rabbi, Ras Wyndham Yadam, and see, because he's very versed in all of this, you know. So They created a school and acquired aid rights. So basically, the Orthodox Jews writer activist has claimed that Ford never belonged nor converted to any branch of Jews. So yeah, the white Jewish they didn't accept him as a Jew, right? As or Orthodox Jew. So here we are. We also have Rabbi Matthews up here at the top. You know what I'm saying? And down below is Abba Bivens, y'all.
Wait, the Moorish Jews.
Gotta call you back.
The something of the Moorish Jews.
So Abba Bivens is the creator of One West. All right. Abba Bivens was a student. We're gonna find that out. Here this is. Watch this, yo.
So hold on. Why is there a disconnect between the Moorish and
this is like 1930s, right? The Moorish Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews, 127th Street West, 137th, right? I want you to take a look right behind the two gentlemen on your far over here. I don't know if y'all can see my cursor. You see the flag behind the American flag over here, and this flag over here, right here. That's the Israel flag, right? Well, how is that the Israel flag when Israel wasn't even established until 1940, and this is late 1920s, early 1930s.
Wow.
Okay, so in 1948, the Jews that took over, the Ashkenazi Jews and took over the land of Palestine, they took our flag and used it. That is our flag.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is that the Zionist Temple of the Moorish Jews?
Right.
So, at what point did the Moors and the Jews separate?
Right. You see what I'm saying? So that's what there's a lot of division that we're seeing going on, where we're all really coming out of a lot of the same root, And so that's why I'm saying, like, the division thing is huge right now, Who was talking about the FBAs and this, that. Like, come on, y'all. Let's stop this. So here we go. Archibald Dunkley, a Hill Dread history. The UNIA declared against Howell in New York. Leonard Howell is marked as the first person to coin the Rastafari movement, bring it to Jamaica. Okay, and this is his words. After my travels and subsequent return to the United States, I became attracted to the Rastafarites. Who are the Rastafarites in the U.S.? This is before he's a Rastafarian, or before he brings us back to Jamaica. So his return to the United States which was in New York, right? Commandment Keepers and all of them in the UNIA. There's a group called that maybe he just termed as the Rastafarites, and afterwards returned home to Jamaica to preach its tenets. So where did Rastafari come from, y'all? This is the words of the actual original founding father of what we now consider modern Rastafarianism. And he's telling us here in this quote that he got it from some Rastafarites in the U.S. and then brought it back home to Jamaica, right? The Rastafarites retreat to the mountains and the fastness of St. Catherine. Some old newspapers and stuff back in those days. Rastafarian that came to Jamaica, they were very oppressed, right? Here we are. Arnold Josiah Ford, that's the hymnal. Rabbi Matthews back in the 1920s, late 1920s, 1930s, right? That's the hymnal from the United Negro Improvement Association, right? So here, right? This is Ross Fillmore, one of the original elders that came, from the influence of Leonard Howell and the Rastafari elders that came in the time. He says, in Jamaica, we always worshiped a white Christ and a white king and a white queen. They didn't learn us anything of a black king. So when I saw a photograph of a black king in front of the page of the Daily Gleaner, I said to my father, I never knew we have a black king. He said, yes, yes, man. I said, how you know? He said, He was crowned in 1930 in Ethiopia. 52 nations went to his coronation. I said then, how can I know about it? He said, read your Bible. Elder Ross Fillmore. So this is back in, this is like, 40s, the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Still saying that the idea of a black king and a black king, a queen, was still alien to many of us in diaspora. Even though that we've seen a lot of stuff going on already in the Ethiopian, the Jews, Black Jews, and United Negro Improvement Association were growing. Still, a lot of people were unaware, of this idea, right? So here they are in Harlem. I believe that's 127th Street. Huge parade around 1927. You know what I'm saying? They're holding up pictures. This is Rabbi Matthews is the one with the white and blue stripes. I believe that's Rabbi Ford actually right there. And Matthews is somewhere in there. The UNIA, the two officers that are holding a picture of Haile Selassie and Marcus Garvey. It's really hard to see in that image, obviously, because, it's an old photo that they've added some color, slapped some color onto. But this is what was going on. This is how big it was in the city, right? 1920s, long before, you had cats over here rocking, and lifting up a black king and talking about being Israelites and seeing God, through the spectacles of Ethiopia, as Marcus Garvey had stated, right? Going down, so here we go again. Leonard Percival Howe, I'm not going to read the whole entire. They called him the Gong, is where they actually gave Bob Marley that title, the Tough Gong. They got it from Leonard Howell, right? He came back, brought Rastafari tenets to Jamaica, and then it exploded. You know what I'm saying? It's like he got the beanstalk, planted it, became, got the bean, and it became a beanstalk, right? So continuing forward, here we have Haile Selassie, the elders and stuff. When Haile Selassie came to Jamaica, I'm saying very extreme, powerful moment. He also came to the U.S. But before we even get there, hold on. Before we even get there, let's go here. So let's take a look at this. One West Camp, right? This is Abba Bivens, right? Let's see this. The founder of the first grouping and the movement was Abba Bivens. Real name Edward Meredith Bivens, right? Bivens, also known as Eber Ben Yeoman, who claimed a former slave taught him that blacks and Native Americans were actually Israelites while traveling from Pennsylvania to New York. He attended the Judaism-related Commandment Keepers of Harlem for up to 20 years. Bomb. Okay, so wait. So if this guy learned about Haile Selassie and the tenets from Commandment Keepers, Rabbi Ford, right, and Rabbi Matthews, right, and it went back and it became Rastafari. 1968, here we go. Here comes Abba Bivens establishing his movement. He came out of the same place that Rastafari came out years before, about 40 years before, right? So this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they are an offshoot of the Rastafari movement. I'm saying they came from the origins, which was the Commandment Keepers and the Moorish Zionists, right? Moorish Zionist Jews of Harlem, which is also where Rabbi Leonard Howell learned the tenets of what he considered Rastafarianism, and then brought it back to Jamaica. So who comes first? Chicken or the egg? Your 12 tribes chart. They didn't make it first. They didn't make that first. We had ours, Prophet Gad of the 12 tribes of Israel Rastafari movement created the 12 tribe chart back in 1940. Okay, so we had the first chart. And this chart wasn't even sanctioned by Abba Bivens, to my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Don't quote me on that. I believe later on, after Abba Bivens went on, some of the people who was now ISUPK wasn't, didn't have the same name as it does today. It's still, it was like the Israeli Universal, Church of Practical Knowledge, something like that. You know what I'm saying? However, when before Commanding General Yohana came in, you know what I'm saying, they had came up with this chart, and there was a lot of conflict about their chart over here: Negroes, Judah, Puerto Ricans, Ephraim, and home. There's a lot of problems with that, you know what I'm saying. Whereas the 12 tribe chart of the Rastafari community was more about when where you were born, even in Africa, and your dates. I think this is the wrong one here. The date of your birth, right? So the Rastafari chart, the day of your birth decides what tribe you're from. Wow. Not all Rastas subscribe to that, but specifically that one mansion. They over there in the One West Israelites, they call themselves camps. They have camps. In the Rastafari movement, we have mansions. We have different offshoot branches that are called mansions. Haile Selassie coming to North America and placing a wreath on Martin Luther King's great. I want to show these images because most people think that he was they think that he was so far removed from African Americans here, and he don't, or even the Caribbean, or that he did not particularly care for the Rastafarians in Jamaica, which is absolutely untrue. You know what I'm saying? So we already know that Rabbi Ford went to Ethiopia and was present at the coronation. You don't just get in the coronation. You know
what's so crazy is that in Washington, D.C., do you know how many Ethiopians own land?
Oh, yeah.
Like certain aspects of Washington, D.C., because
there
was a whole black area in Washington, D.C., that U Street, Cordoza area that was all owned by Ethiopians. I'm not sure if it still is.
Right, yeah, large Ethiopian community. And it's interesting because I understand from one specific frame with what you said about the FBA situation, because many people come to North America and whether they come from the Caribbean or come from here, come from Africa or whatever, and they live off of the fruits of the civil rights movement, but some of them don't have a positive attitude towards African Americans. So from that perspective, I understand where where a lot of this contention is coming from, because it's like, hold on now, you guys are coming over here and looking down on us, but you wouldn't even have a job here. You know what I'm saying? Much less an education here if it wasn't for the bloodshed, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. So from that perspective, okay, I get it. But also just remember this: during the Ethiopian-Italian War, our own African soldiers went against the commands of the military, jumped in airplanes and flew them shit. They ran off with the planes, yo, to go and help fight for the Ethiopians. They asked, they begged, and I believe it was was it Roosevelt? It wasn't Roosevelt. It was Lyndon Johnson or somebody. They refused. They didn't want nobody to go. Get involved with the Italian-Ethiopian War. Black folks over here who were in the military were like, "Yo, can we go over there and help?" You got the English, the Brits and them, they're over there trying to help or whatever. Can we also aid? And they were refused, and they said F you. When they got back, a lot of them got court-martialed. You know what I'm saying? So we were very much a part of the fight for Ethiopia's liberation in the second Italo-Ethiopian War, right? And he was very, very he acknowledged that. You know what I'm saying? He acknowledged that and made sure that but even before that war, you know what I'm saying, in 1927 he established what is called the Ethiopian World Federation, and that was to give African Americans in the diaspora the ability to come back home if they wanted to, and to be considered Ethiopian nationals, right? And this EWF, many of the commandment keepers in them were a part of that organization as well as the UNIA were all a part of the, and that was local 1 branch was also in Harlem. I'm a part of that branch. I'm a part of the Ethiopian World Federation Local 1, which is still located in Harlem to this day. Established in I think it was 1937, 1936, like right around the beginning of the war, right? That His Imperial Majesty had sent for, national identity to us, told us, stop calling yourselves Negroes, you're Ethiopians. Stop allowing them to call you this and call you that. We will take you under the banner. So they would say, oh yeah, them Africans didn't do nothing. They didn't want us to come over. They that's not true. A lot of African Americans said, oh, they don't like us in Africa. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Haile Selassie was one of the first. And I'm not saying that he is the first, because it was, I believe, who was it? King Johannes, was it Johannes II, I believe, had sent a dowry here to the Americas to try to pay for slaves to come back to Ethiopia. They refused that, kept the money. You know what I'm saying?
So the American government got the money and
yes!
allow us. This is what I believe is happening now. Let me tell you what's happening now.
What's that?
So right now, as we speak, what they're doing is, so you have the government taking away all of our, the aid, whatever, getting rid of US aid that's going into like the African countries. And then on top of that, they are removing any example of any people that were in the military or did anything. I mean, they're going into the Pentagon, taking like tens of thousands of photos of people that was in the military, black people that were in the military that did this, that did that. They went to the memorial website of all, and they're trying to remove the history of that. The next thing they did was, most recently, they just made like a whole ban on anyone in the military that has pseudo folliculitis Barbie, and that you have 4 chances to, if you have, and it's a black thing. You know what I'm saying? Pseudo folliculitis Barbie is very much a black thing. They're trying to remove military members that have that. You have about 4 chances to get that resolved, and if you don't, you have to get removed from the military. And then the next thing that's happening is that Donald Trump is making it so that if you they're removing the ability for African nations to come into America.
Right. Yeah, he reminds me of Benito. His whole entire, the way he moves is Benito Mussolini. I don't know if y'all ever. He's Benito. You know what I'm saying?
And here's the weird thing is that
Benito Part 2.
Recently, you've had like a lot of you had what's his name? I forget what his name is. What was it? I don't know what his name is. He is out. He has he wears the beret. And he dresses the military, but I forget what that area is called. He's saying that we need to come over there.
Yeah. I know you're talking. I don't know his name.
Military president over there for that part of Africa. What's the part? But then you have Ghana saying come back.
Yep.
You have all these African nations are asking us to come back there.
Right.
But then you have Tariq Nasheed saying, oh, you guys need to watch out because they're just trying to get our money and have us come back there and develop their country, and kind of going against that whole thing. But then you have Trump on this side making it so that it's almost going against dual citizenship, because he's saying that if there's a ban on coming from those nations, so if you go over there and get citizenship, coming back will be a hard to try. So it's weird what's happening now. It's like almost like they want to block us from going over there, and they did that a long time. Remember, for a long time they didn't want us to go back over there, but then they'll say the white
go back to Africa.
Go back to Africa, but it's like, well, I can't.
You gotta pay my plane ticket, bro. I'll go. I'm going.
Pay my ticket. Okay, listen. If any white supremacists watching this, hit me up. If you want me to go back to Africa, hit me up and buy my ticket, and I will be gone.
2 tickets one way for me and my son, yo.
I just need a one-way ticket. I don't even need a
got no problem. Got no problems with it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so let's go back. Sorry,
so no, it's good. No, it's good. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good point, because even with that, if you remember the scripture, not to get all overly religious, I'm trying to keep it, focused on the objective information as opposed to, biblical interpretation. But in the Bible, during the Exodus, according to the scriptures, whether you agree with them or not, there's a very interesting story in there about how they when Israel and the mixed multitude left out of Egypt, out of that captivity, that they brought the gold and the silver with them. And when they did that, basically, Bible scholars say that it was a financial like it broke their economy in a sense, because they left with so many people left with so much of their gold and riches and stuff and brought it back. It was leaving with it, and that's probably one of the reasons why. It was just a presumption, a speculation that they believe that in the Bible. Ramesses went after them like, yo, hold on, you taking up all of the money. No, it's our money. You know what I'm saying? But that's like that, it's like the same thing. Like if we were to get reparations, if they were really to calculate the the cost, you know what I'm saying, of it, in a day, you know what I'm saying, the class status would change. Race and class status would change. You know what I'm saying? I mean, immediately, because the cost would be too high, you know what I'm saying, to pay. So, going back to Africa and stuff like that, I think you got to remember this too, y'all. Natural resources, the natural resources that are in Africa, you know what I'm saying, are what they use even here. This country wouldn't have the steel and iron ore that they use for the chassis in your car, much less the skyscrapers that they build, if they did not steal them or take them or exploit them from other African countries and other African nations. So what happens when Africa nationalizes their own resources and starts taxing people on that, and America, you know what I'm saying, has to still get their iron and all of those resources from there. You know what I'm saying? Changes the dynamic. Africa's looking good right now, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Especially with what's going on now in the economy. It's crazy right here. You know what I'm saying? Certain places in Africa are thriving. You know what I mean? Go ahead, take Elon's people and bring them. Take me over there. I'll go right to South Africa. There's like 300,000 Rastafarians down there already. Rastafarian Africa is one of the largest growing religions, and I'm so glad it is, because when you had so much white Catholic stuff going on in Africa, you know what I'm saying, which is still going on, and then you had a lot of the Islam. No disrespect to my black Islamic folks, but the Arabs weren't too good to us over there, and they still ain't, right? So I think that I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway,
so the president name is Traore of Burkina Faso.
Okay.
He is asking people to come over there and to help build Burkina Faso. Now it's interesting you talk about the fact that at the end of the day, we're getting all of our minerals and everything. So there's this whole thing. This what's it called? Is it called BRICS or something like that? We have South Africa, Russia, India, China, and Brazil, and they were going to make gold the standard, right?
Right.
And I believe that the reason why Donald Trump is on this whole thing trying to punish African nations is to make them afraid of joining BRICS.
Okay.
You know about are you aware about that?
Nope. You just put me on to something. I have to look into that myself. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing called, you never heard of BRICS? You never heard of BRICS?
No. Bricks like bricks, all white bricks, off white bricks. That's what you mean? Like that? That's how you enunciating it? No. You said bricks. What does it mean?
It means Brazil, Russia, India.
Okay, Africa. Gotcha. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what they're trying to do is change it so that everything goes back to a gold currency.
Standard. Right.
You know?
Yep.
So the latest summit of the Brazil, Russia, India, China, South African Bloc of Nations held in August 2023 has sparked conversations across the globe, including in Africa, where resentment of Western hegemony runs deep. Hegemony. BRICS, which emerged from the idea of a Goldman Sachs paper in 2001, has evolved into an influential bloc of the global South nations pushing for greater equity in the international system. So what's happening is that Africa's saying, you know what? Africa's home to 1.3 billion people, which is about 17% of the world's population.
Right.
Also represents 20% of the Earth's surface, while it shares a global arable land and reserves of minerals amount to 60% and 30% respectively, attesting to the continent's vast riches. Notwithstanding this, Africa only produces 3% of global GDP, while accounting for a similar share of international trade. In addition, other BRICS member states like India, China, and Russia complain of not having a greater say in the world affairs and the global economy, despite their economic weight and military might. This is spite of the fact that following the 15th summit, where the bloc added new members, BRICS now controls 75% of the world's manganese, 50% of the world's graphite, 28% of the world's nickel, 10% of copper, 42% of global oil supply. Many hope that by leveraging their collective strength, the bloc can help address this growth inequity. So this is not only just a thing about, it's also about like equity and all this. So
Right.
so let's go back into your
that's my presentation is that, like I said, man, if I would have got a few more hours, I would have been like 40 slides. That's where I'm at, though. That's what I have. So I mean, if you want to dialogue a little bit about
let's go into it. And also, if anyone else wants to add to the conversation, I'm gonna drop the link. Come on up. Yeah. So here we go. The link's in the chat, you guys. Let's go. But yeah. So what do you think about that?
I haven't formed a conclusion yet. I think, like folks, I think a lot of things are changing now, for a lot of those, countries that were third world are starting to freaking, and in African countries and nations are starting to unify and basically do what Europeans did, like in the 14th or the Berlin Conference. They all got together and freaking sat together and figured out how they were going to divide, you know what I'm saying? But I think right now, I really don't know what to think. Honestly, I don't know what to say, on that situation,
So what's happening right now with Trump and Elon? It seems to me that they're trying to make the Black Americans be stuck here. They're taking away all of like PI rights, and then on top of that, making it difficult for us to go to Africa and then get dual citizenship, because they feel like that if we go over there, then we'll be an enemy to the United States.
Absolutely.
So, there's a lot going on here,
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Right. So it's almost like, okay, we got to keep them here because you have Trump saying, oh, the African Americans, the Latinos are taking away their jobs. So they made them go back to whatever, and then they're gonna like break down all the DEI and all that like stuff. We're working in the government and this, that, the other, and now we end up back working in the fields.
We're still in the fields. You know what I'm saying? We just get a little bit better freaking daggone,
And have you seen how they actually enacted segregation again? Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying?
So you're down with the segregation? You think that
I'm tired of listen. If they don't want me in their business, you know what they can do? I won't say it on YouTube because I don't want you to get flagged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So
I don't want to give them my business out. Everybody was over there freaking boycotting Target. I don't remember the last time I ever shopped in Target.
I've never shopped at Target. What the hell? Like,
you know what I'm saying? I was like, I said, I guess I can't really boycott something that I don't really use.
So let's go into it though.
Right.
So you have Hebrew Israelites, you have the Mona Israelites, you have the IUIC, you have the Great Mount. You have Israelites that are on this land. And also overseas, you have the people in Shashamani. You have the Rastafarians in Shashamani.
Right. You got Rastas in South America, Rastas in Ghana. Yep.
So then you have a Tariq Nasheed that's saying, okay, now we're going to call certain people tethers. I mean, and so now it's like, and then Pan-Africanism is dead. Right in the moment where we need Pan-Africanism. What do you think?
He's a little tether. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Oh man, Tariq, and I love Tariq Nasheed. I love Tariq. You know,
Pan-Africanism is dead. First of all, do you think that it should
they're
die?
trying to destroy it. But if you look at the African Americans that are even in Ghana and stuff, now I don't think so. Honestly, I don't. You know, here in Syracuse, maybe it's just because of where I'm at, but here in Syracuse, we've got a large Ghanaian community and Nigerian community. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I haven't done it in quite a while, but I'm with the drum ensembles and stuff like that. A lot of my African Americans and Ghanaians, you know what I'm saying, all come together, and like we don't see that much like division, you know what I'm saying, here amongst Africans. And so as far as Pan-Africanism, I don't think it's dead. I think that they're trying to quench that, that they're trying to put it out, but doesn't make sense from a strategic standpoint as if anybody's read any kind of thing on war, and it's not even rocket surgery, you know what I'm saying. You need numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. So you have a Rastafarian that's clearly Pan-African, right? And if you say that the Hebrew Israelite movement came out of the Rastafarian movement, that's clearly
out of the commandment, right? Out of the original place where
right.
Yeah.
So then, what do you say when people say against being the Gentiles and the black and the Africans are like the bad guys of the whatever? Like what?
Now, let me just say something positive first. There are many of my Israelite brothers, you know what I'm saying, who are well known in the community, who are down with the Rastas and know that we are, you know what I'm saying, that we are also a part of the same, you know what I'm saying, community, you know what I'm saying. They give mad respect. My brother Prince Charlandine, you know what I'm saying, tribal minister, you know what I'm saying, Mighty Hebrew.
Shouts out to Mighty Hebrew.
Mighty Hebrew does quite a bit with the Rastas over there, even in Tanzania. You know what I'm saying? And so he's even in those circles when they have their holidays and stuff. He's over there speaking amongst them. You see what I'm saying? Mighty Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? I love Mighty Hebrew, and other brothers, Shabar, you know what I'm saying, For Truth, SOGs, Isaiah Yasharala, all those brothers, they don't have no problems with us. But there are, like, for instance, other brothers whose doctrines get in between, you know what I'm saying, us, you know what I'm saying. But then, if you watch what happened in the last week, what's going on even amongst themselves, I was like, for a while I was taking it personal, like, yo, come on. I went over to the ISUPK, debated with those brothers. It was mad respect, mad peace, and the whole nine. Could get back out, and niggas is calling me a heathen again. And I'm like, yo, wait, hold on, bro. We was just breaking bread the other day, right? But and then you got another brother, the Sons of Thunder. They hate Rastas. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they're the Haile Selassie's not the seed of David. Wait, hold on. How are you going to stand here as an African American who lost all your identity and then talk about Mexicans, Native Americans, you know what I'm saying, being Israel without no documentation on that? But Ethiopia is literally in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And then turn around and speak against Rastafarians. I was like, that. See, I think what goes on is that people get into their organizations, their camps, and they start vying for the top position. ISUPK has been there for such a long time. Right now, IUIC is like, you know what I'm saying, they're booming, you know what I'm saying? And they're reaching out to Africa, though. That's one thing, too, I like about IUIC, even though they don't like Rastas neither. You know what I'm saying? They're going to Africa. You know what I'm saying? They're establishing camps in Africa. Unfortunately.
What about the Sakaris? Were they at one point doing stuff in Africa too, or were they?
Not sure. I think that they're kind of more like locally localized in the Americas. You know what I'm saying? Focusing on the 12 tribes that are here in Native Americans.
So do you
Negroes.
think that they need to like come together more? And
I think that absolutely, and that's really why I put myself out there even as the roster. You know what I'm saying? I'm like sometimes I feel like I'm the sore thumb, but I'm engaging in a lot of Israelite forums and you know what I'm saying, I kind of try to be that bridge, you know what I'm saying, because most Rastafari they don't worry about it. They're like, when I deal with them bombo clot thing there, you know what I'm saying, love us or you don't, you know what I mean? But I'm over here like trying to be that bridge, you know what I'm saying? So I get flack all the time, you know what I'm saying? And I still, go back and forth with brothers out of love and debate. I'm on a lot of different platforms.
So how do we, because I think the debate is cool, but how do we bump the debate? There needs to be
I know
actual joining of all the Israelites.
Yeah.
And leaders of the Israelites. And then say, listen,
you can barely get those guys to go to have their Passovers and stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Folks been so divided for so long, especially here in North America, even amongst the churches. You know what I'm saying? On how they used to say Sunday is the most divided. You know what I'm saying? Time. You know what I'm saying? In during the week in America. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody separated and going to praise God, right? But nobody's praising the same God together. So I don't know.
Honey, Texas Band, bless his heart for trying.
I appreciate that. But yeah, it's rough, man.
It sounds like that the leaders need to come together of all the Israelite groups.
Yeah,
and because there's land, we don't have to be over here suffering and there's doing land. This. Going through, there's land. People have actually established land,
right?
And I even, like I said, I know for a fact that the actual person that created Oyotunji in South Carolina was aligned with the Hebrew Israelites. Even when I talked to Babalawos in Ifa that are in America, they are very aware of the Hebrew Israelite culture.
Absolutely,
there's a much given respect to it,
right?
And that also the thing about, because they want to say, it's almost like they want to pretend like they're back in the Egyptian times. And then persecute people according to how it was back then.
It's like recidivism, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's like, well, no, we're not in Egyptian times.
Come on now.
Oh, you believe in Egypt? Oh, okay, you're an Egyptian. So guess what? The Egyptians did this to us, and you're.
But here's the funny thing. When they're arguing about when they're trying to defend the Jews, the original Jews being black, they have to use Egypt. They have to use Egypt. Every time I see them get in that conversation, you know what I'm saying? They say, well, Joseph, they couldn't even tell the difference between Joseph and the Egyptians. So that means that if the Egyptians were black, that means that the Jews were black. They have to use Egypt.
And you know what's so crazy? Listen, I'm going to say this. I got a little bit of flack of always bringing up E5 into Hebrew Israelite conversation.
Man, they're going to give you flack. If you ain't in their doctrine, if you ain't in their truth, you gonna get flack. Just
and I'm like,
be prepared
I believe that it's all one. They were all in the same area at one point.
Right.
They were
Chief Bay and all of them.
The Yoruba people were in. They didn't start over here. They were over there,
right,
in that whole Nile Valley area, right when all the Moors and all that. And you see, right now when he showed that picture on his presentation, that at one point the Moors and the Israelites and the Rastafarians were all unified, along with the practitioners of Ifa. And there was once a unification. Why did it break apart? That's the part that I was.
And I'm telling you that Pan-African and that black ideal, it's becoming divided more and more now. You know what I'm saying? Like back when we was coming up, my father and them were coming out of that, that extreme 1970s, 1960s Black empowerment, Black power movement, Black Panthers, you know what I'm saying, Move Association, etc., etc.
So you know about Move. So what were the Move people? Were they Israelites or what were they? Move.
I don't know if they had I think they had more of a political position. I don't know if they had any religious, they could have had some religious stuff. Obviously, as Black folks, we always have some kind of spiritual thing going on. But I'm not sure about that. I know that they had the locks, and the dreadlocks was a huge thing with them, and that was, to my knowledge, was highly influenced not by the Rastas, but it's closely related because of the Mau tribes when they went to war they also aided in helping Haile Selassie and stuff too. The Mau tribes, they grew their locks out, you know what I'm saying, in solidarity, you know what I'm saying, with even Ethiopia. And this is a tribe that don't even come from Ethiopia, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just, but once they saw Italians trying to, that colonize, attacking Ethiopia, they in solidarity grew their dreadlocks. This is really, really where the origins of the dreadlocks come through for the Rastafari movement, is when they started seeing the images of the Mau Mau, who were standing in solidarity with Haile Selassie. Until Haile Selassie was returned to his throne, they would not cut their hair. And their
can you break down even the Indian aspect of
the Native? So we got a lot of
not Native American. I'm talking.
I know the Sadhu, right? Yeah, you're talking about the East Indian, what they call Puliman. In there's a lot of there's a lot of Eastern. No, they're not Rasta. However, there are Rastas who gravitate towards some more Hindu ideas. But the very interesting thing about this is, I think the most important thing about that is, what were the locks represented in Hinduism? The locks were called what is it? Something jatas, Shiva jatas, or something like that, which is Shiva's hair. And it represented divinity, you know what I'm saying? So the Lord Shiva would grow his hair into locks, and so the Sadhus would grow their hair. They're very holy people, they in their country, and they're revered very highly. And so there was long history of East Indians in the Caribbean, and some of that culture also was adapted into it. But I would say the main thing with the the transmission of Indian culture into the Rastafarianism and in Jamaica is ganja. You know what I'm saying? Ganja is named after the Ganges, and a lot of those sativas and the curry and stuff like that, the herbs and spices that they brought over to Jamaica, is what really became a huge part of the cultural diet. You know what I'm saying? In Jamaica has a lot of Indian influences and stuff like that. But the locks is I think it's Shiva jatas.
So did the Rastafarians get the locks from the Indians, or did they get?
At first they got it. No, at first, well. I'm sure that there were Indians and stuff. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think it had to do with the Mau Mau. They started seeing images of the Mau Mau wearing their locks out. And got to remember that even the East Indians in Jamaica weren't wearing their hair like that. Most of them, were like trying to be like, the upper class British and stuff. So they were cutting their hair and stuff like that. People weren't walking around with
untouchables, right?
Yeah. Well, that's in India. Yeah. In India, they were untouchables are like dark skin. You know what I'm saying? But in Jamaica, I'm talking about the East Indians in Jamaica. Were probably they weren't in a lot of Coolie and Asians weren't in the same class as a lot of blacks who were in there. You know what I'm saying? And I think what's the other Syrians? The main political parties were run by Syrians. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting things. Like the dynamic. But I would say that they didn't see dreadlocks until they saw the Mau Mau. Because once the Rastas began growing dreadlocks, because prior to that, they didn't grow dreads. You know what I'm saying? Once they saw the Mau Mau, you know what I'm saying, with the locks, and began growing the locks, then it became a problem, and they started killing freaking Jamaican Rastafarians all over Jamaica and stuff. They was getting slaughtered.
The understanding of locks. Also, I remember back in the day, when we thought about Rastafarian, it was like, their underarms stink. They don't wash. They don't take baths. They stink.
But they say that about everybody who freaking comes from India too. Africans too. And those Mexicans. Oh man, they. You know what I'm saying? Like black folk, we are so. African Americans, especially up top, we so bougie. Or what they call, right? But stush is what they call it in the Caribbean.
Right. So explain the locks and what is the importance of locks.
Okay, well, from the biblical side, you know what I'm saying, the Nazarite vow, right? And so you had, Rastas, began seeing themselves as Israelites through Haile Selassie, knowing now the Haile Selassie, King David, seed of King David, and that the others Negro, and so we're also Israelites here in captivity. And the locks became a symbol of separating from Babylon system, because you had to have your hair cut and trimmed a certain way, in especially in those in 1920s, 1930s and stuff like that. To have dreadlocks was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't imagine, especially for African, people of African descent, and even Native American descent, people with dark skin. They wanted you to try to fit into Eurocentric norms as much as possible, but when we started growing the locks, it was a symbol of resistance against the perceptions of Eurocentric beauty, Eurocentric standards. Like, we don't care about, fitting into your society. We are separated, we're growing our hair. We're, instead of trying to straighten back, even though those 20s, they was wearing comps and stuff. They were putting, what was that?
The lie in their hair.
The lie and stuff in their hair, and the straight in their hair and stuff like that. And so the Afro, now watch this. Here's a very important thing. 19th, everybody gets mad when I say this, but it's actually in a lot of peer-reviewed articles and books from Black scholars who will literally tell you that one of the main reasons the Afro here in North America became so popular is because it was when they saw the images of the Ethiopians fighting the Italians, the Ethiopians culturally wore their hair like this. You know what I'm saying? And so here we're seeing Africans, resisting against Europe, and maintaining their sovereignty and showing their identity and proud of their hair, where we weren't proud over here. Black folks started standing in solidarity, stopped conking their hair, and started growing Afro. The Afro became a symbol of resistance against white supremacy and colonialism.
So was also the locks, right?
Right. So how much of Ethiopia in the Rastafarian movement, is really a part of people just like to try and marginalize Rastafari as if it's just a Jamaican thing. No, this is an experience that is the diasporatic experience.
Well, once you said it came out of New York, I'm like, wow, that's
wow.
So you told me something right there that no, it did not come out of Jamaica. It came out of New York.
Right.
Just like, when they try to fight against about hip hop, did it come out of Jamaica? Did it come out of New York?
Right.
So New York was a energy center at some point.
It was an epicenter of culture and Black empowerment. This was the Renaissance. This was the new Negro. And this was, if you read that book, because that's a compilation of writings from the top Black scholars at the time. Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, all of them wrote in this thing called the New Negro. To go get that, read it. Everybody had a different vision of what they thought, the new Negro was supposed to be, what was supposed to be our direction, which way are we going now? And they were all collectively trying to figure this thing out together. And here we are trying to divide against each other. I think they would be disgusted with us. You know what I'm saying? Even though Booker T. Washington didn't always agree with Frederick Douglass, and Frederick Douglass didn't agree with Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey didn't agree with this one, at the end of the day, they still sat down to have the conversation because they had one of the same goals, regardless of the difference of their beliefs and their So
well, that's why I have a dream where the Moors and the Israelites, the practitioners and the Santeria,
we need that
Voodoo and Haitian can all come together and say.
That would be the bomb, though. You know how much? Listen. Even just to Caribbean Day Parade and stuff like that. You know how that thing goes. But when we're these organizations and cultural identities within our community come together, to do something like that. That would be so powerful. And I've even talked about Israelites and Rastafarians having a function, and I thought that would be dope. A lot of
I believe that Rastafarian, when I think about the Ifa, I believe that the Rastafarians are the Ogun. The Ogun, right? Then you have the Israelites of they're the Shango. So they're both the war spirit. They're all warriors, right?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I.
The Christian is Obatala. They're more about Jesus
priesthood,
and
priesthood, right? Yeah.
So if we actually look at things in that way, then we divided. We need to find a way not to be divided. Come together because
That's what I'm saying.
everything is trying to divide us. And one thing I want to also say, because you're talking about your hair and your hair is your antenna, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you have people like they're finding out now that even the weave that people when they get braids,
Oh my God.
like
Oh my
it's got
God.
like chemicals into it that like they
Yeah.
have been doing chemical warfare on us this whole
For
time.
a long time, and spiritual warfare too, because from what I heard, a lot of the hair that comes from India that's brought over here, the actual real hair that's brought from India, the reason that they Indian women cut their hair like that when they grow them that long, right, and then cut them, is because they want to get bad spirits off of them.
Get rid of their karma.
So then they're gonna package it and then sell a package of bad demons to us.
Yeah, that's
crazy. That hair is supposed to be burned,
Yeah. So it's like so yeah, we need to like either we gonna do the afro.
And I'm not knocking anybody, my sisters who wear weave, and I'm not knocking,
I'm knocking it because it's not healthy. Bottom line is you're putting something now they already said
I agree.
The perm is gonna give you fibroids. Right. So now they found out about the wigs. The wigs gonna give you cancer. Now they found out about the braid in here. That's gonna give you cancer.
What about the glues and stuff too for the with the tracks?
You know what I found out? I found out someone told me that when they actually look at a skeleton, that glue and also the dye actually is on your skull after they like do an autopsy and take the skin off the skull. That the actual glue is still onto.
It's still or stuck to the skin or in the pores and stuff like that. Or
it's in your skull. Yeah.
And I believe that too. Recently they said that there was some kind of I think people were getting some kind of injections or something not injections, but some kind of cream that to smoothen out the wrinkles and stuff like that. And recently they did a scan of someone's face who had passed away who used that stuff, and it was like it was inside the face. I even thought that was real.
The Botox, that Botox.
Yeah, the Botox.
Botulinum. It's
something like that.
Bottom line is that all this stuff we need to get back to our natural self, and that's
Absolutely.
what Rastafarian is about, right?
Absolutely.
Rastafarianism is about back to the natural self.
Right.
Please break down the aspects of Rastafarianism. Like, what are the main?
The main tenet, so I would say that the main tenet of the Rastafarian movement is Africa for Africans at home and abroad, the diaspora and stuff like that. It's very Pan-African in that ideal. We have our oath is basically like, let the elderly be fed, the hungry be fed, the elderly be protected, the child cared for. As far as like the religious practice, there's different groups. They're mostly are biblically based, but there are other groups that delve into other realms of esoterics like Hinduism and Kemetic science. And we have our little tips and stuff. Not the way that the One West brothers have been doing it recently, but because we can still come together and beat drum and freaking daggone eat some fruits and vegetables and chant
some curry goat.
You know what I'm saying? Well, a lot of Rastas don't eat not to say that there aren't Rastafari who eat meat. You know what I'm saying? But I'd say around the 1980s, it became a very huge thing to become vegan. And this is what they call ITAL. But prior to that, the elders that when I came up as a, studying Rastafari, the Rastafari elders that I hung out with, they cooked fish and they cooked, like goat and chicken. They didn't eat no pork, obviously, stayed really far away from the beef. And the one thing, there was a couple of things that they didn't do is they didn't cook with salt. And, certain things that they didn't eat from, like the way they slaughtered animals and stuff like that. High vegetables, high and stuff like that.
Let me tell you something about like nowadays, this whole vegetarian thing.
Yeah.
I don't call them starchitarians because for the most part, most people that are like vegetarian are fat as hell. And all they're doing is consuming starch and pasta and bread and this, that, and the other. So I don't call a vegetarian no more a vegetarian.
Right.
They are a starchitarian.
Oh my God.
Vegetarian.
I mean, nowadays they got veggie burgers that are just as unhealthy as a regular hamburger.
Yeah.
So, oh, here's a veggie burger, and you look at it, and they fried it. You know what I'm saying? They, did all of this stuff to it, and it looks delicious. You know what I'm saying?
It smells, it tastes like meat,
it
right?
looks, and tastes like
But
meat.
It's not
In a whole
supposed to
nine.
be meat, bro.
It's not supposed to be.
Fruit supposed to be fruit.
Like you gonna be one or the other, man. What are you gonna do,
Why
man?
you trying to make a vegetable into a meat? Come on now. I'm not against meat. I'm not against meat because I was watching something about the tribe in South Africa. It's the oldest tribe. What they call what is it? They were just talking about yesterday. People. The San people.
San. Yes,
do you know that they don't eat no sugar?
Khoisan, yeah.
They just eat meat. They eat meat. That's it.
Yeah.
And they are thin and nothing but protein. They have zero fat on their body. Just nothing but muscles. and they're like, you know what I'm saying? And they survive. Just eating protein all day long. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing: is that we need. So I'm glad I had you on here because not only just are we talking about the Bible and how, because it's one thing to like really get into the Bible and we start like talking about what the scripture says.
Right.
But we need to talk about human. What are
we doing? Talk about the objective things. You know what I'm saying? You can spend all day with interpretation and, the Bible says this and somebody says, no, that doesn't mean that. And we get it, it just becomes, that'll never end.
Wait, Texas Dana said, hold on, she from Texas.
No resolution. Now.
She said, nothing wrong with some fried food. Okay.
There ain't nothing wrong with it, you know what I'm saying? In moderation, everything in moderation, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen, if I seen like they got the mushroom burger, right? And it's like, it looked good, yo. My mouth was, I'm like, that's mushroom. It looked like they got it from, what's that, Chick-fil-A or something. And I'm like, that's a mushroom, yo. It looked good, you know what I'm saying? Would I eat it every day? You know what I'm saying? Not unless I wanted my arteries
clogged. They're adding a bunch of like crazy stuff onto it. If you're gonna like fry your food, you have to probably fry it into oil,
right?
Olive oil or something.
The olive oil,
just water. Or air fry it, but don't like do the
there was another oil that they said is the most healthy.
Canola oil frying. That's not
right.
Good.
There's another oil. I forget what it is. It comes from some kind of a seed or something like that. It's
sunflower.
I think, seed? And they said it's actually probably the cleanest oil that you can ingest. You know what I'm saying? Even olive oil. Certain temperatures, they say that if it cooks over a certain temperature, it can be unhealthy.
So listen,
it's like nothing that you can't get away from it.
We've been getting into it. This has been a great podcast, but I want to ask one last question.
Yes.
What is it? Let's talk about the feminine aspect in the Rastafarian.
Oh, this is everything.
Grapeseed. She said grapeseed. Napasa said grapeseed.
Yes, the grapeseed. Yes, yes.
Let's talk about the women's role in the Rastafarian community,
right.
And what is the difference between the current Hebrew Israelite community and the women in the Rastafarian community?
Okay, so
is it the same? Is it different? What's going on?
I mean, the modesty, the covering the head and stuff like that. That is normalcy among Rastafari women. Although Rasta women, I've seen many beautiful Rasta women, with on the beaches and stuff with bathing suits on too, you know what I mean? But the main thing about this is one of the things that I fell in love with the Rastafarian movement was the romantic side of it. Haile Selassie being crowned. This is the one of the only times in history that you see a king basically crowned with his queen. It's not exactly simultaneously, but he made it so, because usually a queen received the crown far less elegant. It was all focused on the king, and then maybe her ceremony was separate or whatever. No, they were crowned together. It was so important for him to be sitting with her and her crown upon her head, and he was anointed and she was crowned and he's crowned, and they stood and sat together to be this image of both regal black man and woman. So in Rastafari, we look at our empress. We call her our empress. You know, we have a girl. You know what I'm saying? She's a daughter. If she, you know what I'm saying, blessed love daughter. She's not your girl. You know what I'm saying? A sister, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. You know, but with your own wife, you call her your empress. You know what I'm saying? She becomes your empress. She's your queen. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reverence for that. It's very important, the unity between the man and the woman in the Rastafari faith. You know what I'm saying? The king and the queen, that's the balance there. And
so can you have more than one queen, empress, all that stuff? Or what about polygamy?
We know that there's some bread, but it is not taught as a tenet. In fact, because His Imperial Majesty didn't sleep around. He didn't. So if you're following His Imperial Majesty, he kept one wife and had his children with his wife. You know what I'm saying? And there was never a scandal about him laying with other women or nothing like that. He was so devout to the faith and to the image that he had to portray as a black leader to the world. You know what I'm saying? That he had to maintain this regal dignity, and also, you know, because he knew that he was going to be a symbol to Africans, not just on the continent, but worldwide. You know.
So what is your thoughts when it comes to polygamy, and what is the Rastafarian thought about polygamy?
I go back to Genesis 1. You know what I'm saying? I got one rib. All I want is one rib. It's just one, yeah. So yeah, but the other brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't bang on those brothers and stuff. I do get upset though when I hear so much talk. Like, oh yeah, this girl left and this and that, blah. Probably because you was going upside the head, you know what I'm saying? But in a lot of those polygamous relationships, to me, I've seen a lot of pimpery going on a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like,
yeah, I call it polygapimp.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, if you're of the flesh, then you're going to think things about the flesh, and that's what you're going to value. But I'm valuing things of the spirit. You're not going to be valuing how many wives. The Bible says that a king, I think it was in First or Second Chronicles, that a king should not multiply wives unto himself. That's a precept package for your ass. Excuse me.
So a king itself should not multiply wives.
Right, because he has the authority and he has the obligation over the people. So multiply, that's what made Solomon fall, technically. But so a king, a judge, or a ruler, you know what I'm saying, should not multiply wives unto himself, lest he be turned astray. You know what I'm saying? From God and also from his people. Hey, how are you ruling over a nation and you over here worried about, you know what I'm saying, what the problems amongst the family? One wife is going at this one, or, you know what I'm saying, children over here go. You can't do that. You just can't. So your focus is to be a king, you know what I'm saying, or authority. Then having multiple wives is not. You
know what? I wish I had the button that's on it. The
You know, it really isn't.
The women is saying there's not even a man.
And then the brothers,
the female. I believe everyone should live their truth. I believe melanated people were not created to be monogamous. My opinion. And then the don't do that, darn one. You do not want to try to use the Bible to speak against polygyny. No.
Okay, now listen. Adam and Eve see, a lot of times we saw laws in the Bible. Things were that's polygamy is not a law in the Bible. It was allowed, but it wasn't a law. Solomon's fall was because of all of the wives that he took. And me and even Nepal had spoke on this. We agreed that a lot of those marriages were political marriages. Now, he wasn't just running around with the horniest man on the world with 600 wives and 300 concubines. Was it the other way around? I don't remember. But, you know, it wasn't good. You know, and then the polygamy, watch this. In every single instance of polygamy in the scriptures, watch this, y'all, Sister Nepal, it wasn't because they chose to have wives besides Solomon, you know what I'm saying? You'll keep him over there. It was because there was a circumstance. A brother died, or a husband died, and the brother would have to receive the wife, so that she would remain inside the family and she wasn't, out there, So a woman would die, a husband would die. The the brother was supposed to take him as a wife. Another thing too, if even this is a tradition in Africa, right? If in certain African countries, I'm not going to say all of Africa, right? But there's a tradition where if a woman's husband dies, right, even if she's in her older years, and she is beyond childbearing years, someone in the tribe takes her as a wife, so that she is not lonely. It's a blessing, right? Or it's a traditional thing. It is not. Oh, I'm on my second wife, man. I'm gonna get me a fourth one. Get out of here with that.
It wasn't about like
it wasn't about that. It wasn't, it wasn't about multiplying wives. Yeah,
it was about like, hey, there was a reason why.
Yeah, there was a reason. Look with what was it? Isaac? Wasn't it Rachel? No, it was Rebecca and Leah, right? He didn't ask for Leah. He wanted Rebecca. He didn't come over there and say, let me take both of your daughters. Right? He was in love with one daughter. The father pushed, the father said, well, he have a hard time getting Leah off.
Hold on. Here's the question. I'm sorry.
Threw her in the bed.
Why are the women are pushing back on this? So a new woman says they don't talk about women with multiple husbands. So what is the Rastafarian belief of women with multiple husbands?
Look at it this way. The outer gates. What are the outer gates on the temple for? The outer gates is for the folks on the outside. The protection, right? The outer gates, those are your walls on the outside that, on the outside, the congregations, usually the Gentiles will be on the outside of the gates. On the inner gates, you had, the 12 tribes or whatever. In the Holy of Holies, you had the priests, and the holiest thing was kept the most precious. And so a lot of times I think people misunderstand and think that, and there is, don't get me wrong now, there is, misogyny and patriarchal control over women and all of that stuff. I'm not taking the oppression of women away. However, I think that within the Rastafarian movement, a woman's sacredness, she can make her choices to do what she wants. However, in a family dynamic, she's sacred, and I'm the protector. She's the inner chamber. She's like the precious jewel. And you ain't just walking around, swinging your jewels around. Pause. You don't go and you don't reveal your most precious things to someone else. That which is sacred remains sacred. And so a woman, in my perspective, in how I love, she is like the Holy of Holies. And that's not to mean that, that she can't she wants to make her own decisions and stuff like that. But do I want someone else looking, at my woman a certain way? Or obviously you can't control that. But I prefer a woman who's modest. I don't want, listen, I call, it's like somebody said the other day, they was like, they asked the question, it was like, which girl do you like? And they had a picture of like Rihanna, and they had another picture of another chick. They were beautiful women, they were just like half naked, they were just naked, pretty much, with very little on and scantily clad. And I was like, neither. I like mine with gift wrapping.
Hey, I wish I had
real quick. I need to come in here. Peace to you. Peace, Zion. I'm not going to be here long.
I need to assign that button.
I know, I heard you. I'm not going to be here long because I'm cooking and I'm working but I'm listening. Peace, brother. No, this modesty thing. So glad you brought that up. Modesty is relative, and you notice that it's something that men have always had a holdover. Like they are the ones that control the modesty conversation. If we're going to have a conversation about how women dress and how women should look. Women should have that conversation. And we should definitely not have women with puppet strings with some man over them with the puppet strings, a puppet master man, the pick-me, trying to tell us to be in beekeeper outfits and gift wrapped, as you say, and mummy linen, and all those wonderful things, hijabs, burqas, niqabs, everything that helps a man with all of his fragile ego and insecurity. So the modesty thing is a conversation that definitely needs to be had, because I'm hearing you up here talking about, I want my woman gift wrapped. You mean you want her wrapped in mummy linen, right? You want her to wear a beekeeper outfit. Because how does she go swimming? Let me ask you a question. When you go to the beach, and I love you, Zion, but you're the smoosher. I don't know if she asked you about that, but I told her to ask you if you're the head smoosher. So you're the king smoosher. How do you expect to go to a beach if you take your woman on vacation? Is she still supposed to wear a beekeeper outfit, or as you say, gift wrap? How does she enjoy that type of environment?
I don't know if you missed what I said before. I said, in the Caribbean, people go to the beach, and so you can wear a bathing suit. It's not me controlling it. I said a woman can do whatever she wants. I say I prefer women who choose to be modest. That's their choice.
No, I'm asking you as a man. That's why I said your woman.
No, if we're going to a beach and stuff like that, I think that's appropriate. You know what I'm saying? She can wear a bikini or whatever like that. That's on her. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be going out here with a thong on or friggin' some Speedos though.
Okay, so you would, if your woman was getting ready to go to the beach and she pulled out a 2-piece, it doesn't even have to be a tiny bikini, a 2-piece.
Yeah. I've had that. I've been married before. That's not.
No, I'm saying so because you said gift wrap.
I'm talking about. All right, so in that specific
emphasis on wrap, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not giving your woman away to anybody. So I get what you're saying. You're talking about you like her to be wrapped up, covered, correct?
I like to take it off. The whole fun of the gift wrapping is to take it off.
Right. So let me ask you again. If you go to an outing that requires her to not be wrapped, is that a problem?
I don't make a problem. I don't make anything a problem.
So there's a contradiction then.
No, there is preference, but you can have a preference that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to always get what you want.
Okay, no, we're talking about what you want.
I'm talking about my preference.
I'm not saying what she might say. Because then there's still a conflict then, because you want her to be wrapped up, but then she's wearing something that she can wear appropriately as a woman. So why is that? I'm asking you, I want to hear from you as a man so we can take this apart, because you represent many men. You represent most of the men out there in the consciousness community. Why is it an issue if a woman has some cleavage showing? Why is she considered not modest?
I think that there's a level of taste that goes with anything. There is a level of and it doesn't have to always be. See, there. How do I word this? You know what I'm saying? There is too much. Sometimes folk can show a little too much, even with like, that I can wear some baggy pants. I can wear some baggy pants, but if they too baggy, I'm gonna look ridiculous.
Okay.
The same thing.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I gotta say something. All right, it's hot as fuck in Africa. So
Thank you.
What about when you go into places that are like a Sahara desert, and you have tribes where the women are probably like topless? They might just have nothing but a little bit like covering their like hoo-ha. Do you think that they are probably a lesser like they don't have any modesty, or is it that
no.
The men are more advanced enough to not subjectify themselves or objectify the women when they look at them in their boobs and their booty and this and the other? So do you think that really it's a digression away when you get into Western understanding, and then you bring in the Rastafarian, and you bring in the Hebrew Israelite, you bring in the Christianity, and then you bring in this whole like thing of that Adam and Eve like was naked, and all of a sudden they just covered themselves with fig leaves because they didn't want to show their coochie, and they dang-a-lang. And so now we have this whole ideal of, oh well, we have to cover ourselves, and now we are going along this timeline. When if you actually go into, it's like it's hot. I'm not gonna wear a burqa in the heat.
Thank you. And you hit it on the head. I'm gonna let you.
Burqas were made for people that was actually couldn't be in the sun. That's what I.
Burqas were actually. Let me just, and then I'm gonna hand it back over to your guest. Let me give you the history of all this wrapping up women in Islam, and then followed Islam is the Hebrew Israelites. They were not wrapping themselves up before the Muslims were. There's a very deep history on it. Women who were considered servants, like the lower class women, meaning the women who weren't of royalty or protected by powerful family groups, they would go out to relieve themselves outside of the, whatever, the commune or the camp. They'd go out. And when they would go out, they would be taken advantage of. You can imagine what I mean when I say taken advantage of. They were kidnapped, they were raped, everything wrong was happening to them. They could be seen that they were the women who were not protected. They were the women who, oh, I know I could just take her. She's not from a rich family. She's not from a powerful family. We can just throw her away. That's happening today, by the way, but I digress. So, and I mean by Black women being taken advantage of, but I digress. Now, for them to correct that, they said all women cover themselves and wear the same thing. So they don't know who women belongs with who. That was to protect women back then, not to stop men from getting aroused because they couldn't help but because they saw some titty meat. Excuse my language. So when they did that, it worked well, because then the women, the guys were like, oh, this might be a powerful, this woman might be from a powerful family. I don't want to get my head chopped off. So they left the women alone. Now that's fast forward from like what was that? 600? No, not 600 AD. When you guys help me out with Muslim? I'm not really big on Islam. What was that? 200 AD?
600 is when the like, I think it was like what, 300 years after Muhammad, right?
Okay, so let's around that. So
third century, fourth century.
Thank you, Zion. Fast forward. Now we've got a paradigm of new religion, like, oh, I am a Muslim, I am a Hebrew Israelite, I am a Rasta. But then what they're doing is taking the women, saying, here, I know it's 90 degrees outside and there's 80% humidity. I need you to wrap yourself in this beekeeper suit and we're going to go out to the mosque. And you got me messed up. You got me having to pass out. And I'm laughing, but so many women were passing out, and they have now outlawed the niqab and the hijab. Hallelujah. Meaning outlawed it in certain parts of France, because women were being oppressed and being focused on and being attacked because they didn't want to put it on. If you go to Iran, they have truckloads of women jumping off the back of the truck and slicing women's faces up for not having their head wrap on correctly.
Let's not talk about the acid throwing and all.
Yeah, the acid. Thank you. So. I want to continue this conversation with you and Genesis about modesty. I got to get off here, but I'm listening. Zion, you better be careful with that beekeeper suit stuff. Where did
the beekeeper suit come from?
Your wife is in the background going, preach, sister, preach. She's over there hot as hell, wrapped up like a mummy. Tell him, sister. No, just kidding. I'm just joking. Your wife isn't like that. Shout out to your family.
I got a beekeeper suit on right now, and like, man, please.
I know. No, he's a good brother. His family's great. I love his son. I know his wife is great, but we do need to watch out, ladies. This is our conversation. It is not something for men to take hold of, because my shorts that I do, you know how many Muslims and Hebrew Israelites try to contact my husband, who has no problem with me and how I look.
Right.
And they contact him talking about, damn, I can't believe. And then, of course, I'm not going to say the names, but we have ignorant Negroes who wish they could be with me, a Hebrew Israelite, on the internet talking about, damn, why is she showing all that stuff? She's disrespecting her husband. No, I'm not disrespecting my husband. God gave, I'm a woman. If I was a dude up there and I was married to him, then I would be disrespecting him because he'd be a same-sex guy and he doesn't want to be, right? I'm a woman. I have breasts, praise the Most High. I have a figure. I give life. I have a body. I don't have to be up there disrespecting myself, twerking and doing the shake-a-maroo. I'm saying disrespecting myself. If sisters want to do that, they could do that for themselves. I don't call them the HO if they do that. I think we should start looking at women being modest by their actions. How do you act? Are you always in every other why are you in married men's faces and you don't want to do polygyny?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to talk about. And we as women need to have that conversation. Shout out to the sister in the chat. We got Queen Tai out there. I saw her. Shout out to all the sisters. I love you very much. And Zion, you know it's all love. Yes. I don't want to take your show over. I'm going to go back. I'm going to drop down.
You ain't taking it over. You adding to it.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the clouds.
I really want Sister Tai to come up here because
I wanted to also.
Listen, she said, hell, I've been dressed modest in church preaching. You know, she's a Kojic preacher.
Okay, yeah, she's from the Church of God Christ.
Come on, preacher.
I would love to hear from her. And
please come here real quick.
But I got to go out because I want to listen. And Zion, Zion, don't get it. Don't anybody in the chat. I'm not looking. Be like, oh, she's taking the show over from him. He's the head smusher. He's the head smusher. Don't think he's about that smoke. Okay, he's from the toughest environment. So anyway. Peace to you. I want to hear the pushback more than the echo chamber because the more you push back, Zion, the more we can continue the conversation. I want you to get up there and say, I said, hell no, I want turtlenecks. I need bloomers. Oh shit, I want your shoes tied. I see some ankle, god dang it. No, okay.
Oh,
all right.
Peace, everybody. That ankle getting me hard. Your ankle.
Wait. Do you know? But wait. Feet will men love to get excited over feet, so you can't even wear sandals.
Depends on how pretty them feet are.
Look at here, Zion with his wife. I know you don't have them French tips. You better cover them toes, girl. No, okay.
Right. All right. At what point is it like,
peace.
You know what I'm saying? Do we just be like, come on now?
Nah, I'm not.
Modesty.
Yeah.
Point.
I'm not a dictator.
The guys be having they gray sweatpants on and free balling it. You know what I'm saying? And we see they print, they hold balls, everything.
I don't do none of that, yo. I'm not with that kind of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, guys be free balls.
That is not my lifestyle. But as far as I'm not forcing nothing on nobody. You know what I'm saying? To me, all right. So my thing is this, like. One time I had went to this a African, in Brooklyn. I think it was at the Boys and Girls Club over there. You know what I'm saying? After like the African Day Parade or something like that. And went over there, and there was an area where it's like Queen Afua stuff, and all the Kemetic and the sisters, you know what I'm saying? They smelled like patchouli, and their heads were wrapped, and you know what I'm saying? They had the copper coils on their arms, and they had that fine white linen, and it was just that is sexy to me. I'm sorry, I like that. That's what I like to see women dress. That's how I like to see them. I like the lock. You know what I'm saying? The bunned up with the wrap around it, a couple of locks popping out the side, and just looking amazing, looking like she just ascended from Mount Olympus. I love that look. If that's a beekeeper suit, sis.
Well, no. Well,
I don't know.
Well, a lot's been going on where it's been a thing. And listen, they have this thing called the Handmaiden Wives. You know what I'm saying, on Hulu. And right. This whole kind of push, you have a lot of men well, if you're gonna be dressing like a hoe, you dressing up in a hoe's uniform, you can't get mad when a man look at you like a hoe. You know what I'm saying? So it's really so what about the women? What is wrong with our men that are over here that we can't control ourselves, but then when they're in Africa in the heat?
I think the issue is a level of taste. You know what I'm saying? I think for instance, like Sister Nepal just got finished saying, if she ain't gonna walk out looking like she twerking and doing all of this stuff, but she likes to show.
No.
Because they be I'm not being an echo chamber. But let me just touch that. Let me just
they be in Africa
but
twerking and moving it.
Yeah, I know. I don't. I'm not into that stuff either. But like, if you go to the movie spots. No, I'm not. Certain cultures, I love. I'm more freaking comfortable with than others. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go and drink piss from the back of a bull. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's African, does that mean I should be down with it?
All right, Queen Tail, come on now. What you going?
I don't know what you want me to say. You got to ask me a question.
This the one who's from the Church of God in Christ?
Yes.
All right. You can't join it. You got to be born in it.
Now, Sister Tai, she is a hoodoo priestess. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And she's really tied to African spirituality. So when we start to look down on African spirituality, I say, well, I don't really agree with even how they doing it, but I mean, I would say this is that she the one. Okay, let's go into it, Sister Tai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've been dressed modest in church preaching and been told, Dad, you made my dick hard when you was preaching.
Mm-hmm.
She Kojic. You know how Kojic dress?
I'm saying
the priest. Let's go into it.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing of, I don't know. I was triggered with the wrapping up like a gift. In my mind, I'm like, if you wrap me up like a gift and unwrap me, you better bring it, sir. You better bring it.
Hey, wrap your thing up like a gift, sir.
Yes, and you better blow my mind if I gotta be wrapped up like a damn gift.
The gift wrapper, yo. The best part of Christmas is opening your gift.
It better be a good Christmas. You understand? Better be a good Christmas, sir. But seriously though, a lot of people have their preferences and everything. Right. And I just hate for when women are, their body shamed, they're sexualized, and it's just so many levels to this, and everybody has their story. And so I can remember growing up, being a young girl. Now, some women may disagree with this. Now, I know they go over the top with how they're dressing and things like that, but let's be real. Sex sells. Any type of way, sex sells. That's what we live in. But when we think about if there was a Garden of Eden, but I digress, they didn't have on clothes. Who sexualized women? Who made our bodies like, when you see a woman that's sick, somebody somewhere did this. Somebody somewhere did this. But growing up, I can remember, my mom would, I was a little tiny thing, nice shape, hips, everything. And my mom would, tell me to show my body, but not be nasty with it. But I would get she would get my biking shorts and, little cute little things and all of that. And now as an adult woman, I see young women that's dressed nice, even if they're showing a little bit much. And the older women are coming now. I'm an elder. I'm 50 years old. And they're coming at these young women. And I'm like, I'll get on the post. I'll jump on real quick. Like, if y'all still had that type of shape, you'll be showing it too. So it just aggravates me. And then I've been in situations where I was dressed modest. I've been married twice. I was dressed modest. And my husband looking at the woman that's not dressed modest. So what the hell do we do? So what does that look like? If you want your woman dressed up like a gift, do you close your eyes? How do you handle other women that's not dressed up like a gift?
I don't really, honestly, to me, when I see women who are like dressed with the least amount or, scantily clad, put it that way, I'm not. I turn my eyes away from things like that. I don't. For some reason, being growing up as a PK in the Church of God in Christ. You know,
wow.
Yeah, my grandfather's a bishop over here in Long Island, and he just passed away. But I grew up then my whole life in the Church of God in Christ. So I guess maybe that's my own conditioning and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to like sisters who, I don't have a problem like showing some cleavage and stuff like that. I'm not saying like I have the choice, but when I look at a woman, I like to look and I like to see some curve. I like to see some shape. Right. I love pretty feet, you know what I'm saying? I love pretty lips, hair done nice, you know what I'm saying? Right. But I don't have, when I see a girl who's dressed totally like exposing herself, I'm not disgusted, but I'm not gonna sit there and stare at it either. Okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get that. Doesn't arouse me like to be check that out, look at her, you know what I mean? I'm not looking at the bodies as much as I look at the quality of character with it. I like a woman who has
be nice.
I have a woman who has some taste, a level of class and taste to it, and then you can show some sexuality to it too. But
he's saying he turns his face away, Genesis. Let the man.
I really do.
Bro, you are
no, it's a fact. Everybody, listen. Dudes will always do this. They be like, "Oh man, damn!" I'd be like, "What?" And I'm like, "You don't see that?" I'm like, "What?" And they be like, "Look over there," and I look, and they're looking at some, you know what I'm saying, some cheeks or something. And I'm like, "Okay, man." Like I'm 50 years old. All of that, I'm not chasing booms. I'm not a horn dog. I actually think that is pervy. You know what I'm saying? I think that's weird. You know what I'm saying? I have a daughter. You know what I'm saying? I have a daughter. I love my daughter. She has she does some modeling and stuff like that. You know, sometimes she has shows some things like that. I'm not looking at my daughter. I'm not looking at somebody else's child neither. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you gotta even look that some of these girls ain't even your age. They ain't even your age. So if I turn around, if I'm looking at somebody's butt, like I just see a girl and it's just her butt. Nowadays you can't even tell if it's a girl. So I'm not looking just at
that part.
Forget all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Forget all of that. You know what I'm saying? That'll get you caught up in some dumb stuff. You know, the flesh.
What if a woman is looking up on you? Like, I mean, you're a good looking brother. Like, what is she like? Yo, what's up? You like, no, you'll say, I'm gift wrap.
Shoot, you all unwrap the gift, you know what I'm saying? Like, help us zip it down a little bit.
Why we acting like we looking at each other? Why we can't be so religious? We just don't be looking at each other. We don't.
Right.
Looking at each other. I can appreciate a woman without drooling, without sitting there staring, without thinking that I have to go over there and holler and say something. Girl,
I understand what you're saying.
Don't do that, man. That shit is, that's corny to me. You know what I mean? I just
you respect women. What you're saying? You respect.
It's a respect for women, respect for myself too. Because one of the things I really dislike is like you see an old dude and here come a young girl, and you could tell that's what he's looking at. He's just looking and following her. And she like 14, 15. This dude like 60. I don't want to be that dude.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That is weird.
There's a level of control, and after a while, it just it's a girl, she's pretty, she's got a nice shape. Keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who her character is. I don't, don't know what she's been through. Don't, you know what I mean? Now, most of the women that I've dated, I've always been a shy guy too, though. Ever since I was in school, I wouldn't say shy guy. I just wasn't the dude to approach. You know what I'm saying? Like I have have conversations and be chill with a girl. I could like them in my head, and you know what I'm saying, and never say nothing, nothing, and then when she shows that interest, it just happens naturally, right? That's been most of my relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I was never that dude that like, you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, my uncle, we call him Master P. He's like this real pimpish, smooth ladies man type dude, right? And he was like, and he three nephews, you know what I'm saying, and Uncle Paul, Master P. Master P be like, yo, let's get we about to ride out. You know what I'm saying? We about to go over here. If we get out, we get to the spot. If y'all don't come out with no number, you're walking, right?
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. All right. So you know, Uncle Paul come back with like 5-6 numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Where Uncle Paul at? Where Uncle Paul at?
He in South Carolina. He in South Carolina.
Uncle Paul got some bread, honey. Uncle Paul got that bread.
No, he got the gift of gab. He got a little something, but he got the gift of gab. He got a little light skin, you know what I'm saying? Stuff.
Okay.
You know, but anyway, so Uncle Paul, Master P, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you gotta get that number. So my brother, he goes his way. My other cousin goes. If my cousin doesn't get anything, my brother comes back with 2 numbers. You know what I'm saying? I'm at that. So I there was a young lady, and we exchanged some eyes and exchanged a couple of words. And then, you know what I'm saying? As I'm walking away and getting ready to go to the line, he was like, Brian, you ain't getting no number. You ain't getting no number. He's like, you and Bruce about to walk. The girl comes over and hands me her number.
Wow.
That's just been how my, you know what I'm saying? It's just then everybody's like, there's like, that ain't never happened to me, y'all. You ain't even do no work for that, man. So
yeah.
I'm just not been a horn dog type of dude, you know.
Okay, I can feel where you at.
You ain't never wore no gray sweatpants.
Nah, and I that dang sure won't do it now with all.
I mean, you can start today. It's never too old now. You're never too old.
You should start today wearing. Hey, we need to like see something.
We're trying to loosen you up. We're trying to loosen you up. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, you gotta see something. Hey, you gotta 33 something to see something.
That's only for a high priest.
Listen, when they say you gotta be 33 something to see something.
I like that one. I like that.
Go ahead and get them gray sweatpants. Maybe I should get them and wrap them up like a present and send them to you.
No. We just want something. Hey, listen, y'all.
If that's what my woman wants to wear, she want to unwrap me, then that's just gonna have to.
Hey, I know that's right. Hallelujah.
You won't catch me walking around town with no gray sweat.
Right.
You're missing out.
Trying to advertise.
Listen, you're missing out on the oogling eyes. You're missing out on the oogling.
Oh, Pastor.
And you was about to say you wouldn't do that now? You said you wouldn't do it now at this age? What was you about to say?
Nah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't wear that. You know, listen, there's still women who love dreadlocks.
Yes, of course.
I'm riding on my e-bike the other day, and this woman stops and beeps. She say, "You look like Lenny Kravitz." Oh my God! And I'm like, "Well, come on, stop, girl." Where you going?
I knew it was in there. I knew it was in there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where you go? You know what I'm saying? I want to think of that.
Right. He don't need gray sweatpants. He just got the dread. Okay, listen.
I keep the Lenny Kravitz.
How long is my dread?
I love it. Good.
You didn't know he was gonna get attacked like this on this panel.
He's handling it well. I love it.
I'm used to it. On so many channels, I get attacked by the brooms and stuff. It comes in, but I enjoy this conversation. This is a good one.
Right.
We have to be real. Listen, we have to be real. Like I don't know. Maybe because I'm older. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a crap about what nobody think. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at Nepal was showing a live art thing, and I was like, "Damn, that thing over there, like, what the hell?" I couldn't even understand what the guy was saying in the conversation.
That's another thing too, though. You know, I don't like to look like if I see a woman if she married, I don't know if she married. And as far as my beliefs go, you know what I'm saying, I don't look upon a married woman lustfully. And so how do you do that if you don't know everybody? You don't know who's who. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? And here's a lovely lady. She's, you know what I'm saying, my age is not. Look for the ring first before you play yourself. You know,
right?
But you know what's so crazy is that I did a live with a guy named 607 Unk, and he was talking about the fact that we're all dead right now, and so therefore we shouldn't be worried about anything that we're doing. I'm not sure if you've seen that. Yeah, I know that you've seen it, right, sis?
Yeah, yes. And
I
that's what
didn't
the
see all
topic,
that.
he really, we're all dead right now. That's why he was saying that stuff.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
he said
all
we're
that.
all dead. We should just all just do what we want to do, and you're dead
Oh,
anyway, so it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to hear it from a person that feels alive.
The
How
devil is
much
alive. I was about to
and
put,
how okay, I'm
rebuke that
alive.
devil. About to plead the blood of Jesus on that nigga. What are you talking
Right.
about?
Listen, me and the pop about to like go in on that whole conversation.
Yes.
wow.
Oh man.
So
Wow.
listen, let's just say this. All right. So you're saying that in the Rastafarian community is about being modest, it's about being covered
Even
kind
for the
of like
men, even for the men, a lot of times, a lot of Rastafari brethren don't wear their hair out. I wrap my
Right.
hair in certain places. Certain places, I
Okay.
will not wear my locks out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's sacred to me. So, do I
Yeah.
rap? I rap. You know what I'm saying? Y'all will see my turban is in the front. You know, I wear turban on certain holy days, certain places I go. If I go to, like if I'm going to a place where I don't know what the kind of spirits are going on in there. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
My head's covered.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so with that, if I see a man rap like that, I know he got locks. I'm already turned on. I'm like, oh yeah, he's sexy. He's sexy as hell. What's your name, boo? What's your name? So
So
yeah, I can respect
you
that.
see what I'm saying? So that's attractive, right? That's
Yes.
You don't
attractive.
need no gray sweatpants. Okay, I get it.
No gray
The
sweatpants.
listen, the locks alone is the gray sweatpants.
Okay. Yeah. So you rap you.
I'll wear gray turban. How's that?
Oh, that's good. That'll work.
Oh, there we
Our
go.
secret.
Oh, we need to normalize gray turban.
That'll let me know. Oh, okay. All right. I see you. So how often do you wrap your hair? What percentage of the time? I always have my hair covered. Every blue moon I have my hair out.
Yeah, it depends, like whether, like when, especially if you just got out of this winter, you know what I'm saying, my head was wrapped the whole entire winter.
Okay.
Summertimes I kind of, I don't like these new Tams. The old school freaking knit Rasta hats I like better than these new school ones. These look like bonnets. So sometimes I keep my hair in that so it doesn't breakage and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
but my turbans, if I'm going to court, you know what I'm saying, or if I'm going to someplace, my suit, I have head wraps that match the colors of my suits. You know what I mean? So my head wrap is like, it's part of my signature, you know what I mean, too.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love wearing my turban and everything like that. And to me, it's like who am I advertising the type of woman that I want? You know what I mean?
True that.
So I represent. I'm weirder at the head wrap because I'm attracted to the cultural. You know what I'm saying? The woman with the natural locks and the woman with the with smelling like the patchouli with the. You know what I'm saying? Got that aura.
Yes.
That's what I'm into. So that's what I'm going to dress for. Dress for the occasion.
Okay. Okay. I feel you.
Here's a question though. So lately you have a lot of like these podcasts talking about how women are really talking down about women, like really. So we need to like get more men like you doing podcasts bigging up women, because I get tired of seeing these podcasts like talking down on women about like, oh, you have a weave on, oh, you this, you fat, you this, you that, da, da, da. And I don't see that many men speaking up for women. Like, where are the men that actually love women?
I saw a couple of videos recently too that were good, and I was like, I thought they were about to go in, pardon self, Genesis. I thought they were about to go Kevin Samuels, but I was pleasantly surprised by the way that they kind of flipped it. And it was very encouraging. It was very uplifting towards the sisters. It was not, attacking or being judgmental or trying to tell them what they would like commend. There was one brother. There's this young lady in the back, and he's just there. He's standing, in the video, and she's just talking or whatever. And you really don't even see what she's. But he said, "This is her," and I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Who is she? You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of woman that you marry. She loves herself. Look at how she carries herself. Look at her smile. She's comfortable in her skin. And I was like, that was dope. I just saw that earlier today. I was like, that was a good one. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
See, those are the things that need to happen. Because when people tear each other down, after a while, it ain't going to have too much effect. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
People just going to do it, you know, when you lift up, you want, especially our young ones, our daughters and our sons, to carry themselves a certain way. You know, the positive reinforcement is how you do it. Even with my son, I give him lots of positive reinforcement. You know what I'm saying? When he does things, you know, the way that he should, and makes him happy and stuff like that, keeps him safe, and you know what I mean, carries himself like a young adult. He's 12, but he looks like he's 14 now. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
You know, so it's interesting, but
I want to ask one last question.
I wish I knew where I saw that video. Y'all would like that one. But he really built, and I don't even know if the guy even knows the girl. Like, you know, in the video, he just decided to take this video of this girl talking to somebody. I guess she was doing an interview, and just commend this young lady on just how she carried herself. And I was like, that's dope, yo. You know.
Right.
That's definitely need more of that. You know,
can you hear
definitely
me?
Need more of that.
Yes, I hear you.
I want to ask one last question. I'm gonna play this thing, and I want to hear what you think about this, and give me your honest opinion. All right, so let's go.
I can't hear it.
See what Roy Bay's talking about.
ProGuard formula are 78% more durable than the leading brand.
Almost. How can you be the head of any damn thing, woman, when most of our women out here, their minds belong to another nation? So she is not the head. She's still a goddamn slave, and she's loving the plantation. And most of them, productively wise, right now today, listen, for the last, since talk shows on American TV, from Phil Donahue and even
just for the sake of our channels, we're gonna pause. We're gonna listen to this all the way through, but
hold on. Let me
we're not gonna go in just because I don't want YouTube like.
Let me go.
We've been the topic, the so-called black male, been the topic on every major talk show in America. And most of the time, if the sister did not have a mind like Sister Soldier, Sister Shahrazad Ali, Sister Dr. Cress Wilson, she was on TV bad-mouthing her Sister Ava Muhammad. She was on TV bad-mouthing her brother. What they need to do, they don't do. But yet,
first of all, I'll say this.
Hold on. That are single mothers. Hold on.
Then you say, well, y'all got to pull up your pants out here. The men, we don't mind. You know what? I'm going to challenge the women. Let's have a contest. We're going to pull up our pants when you put on some clothes, not the sister's head, because they look righteous. But I'm speaking in general. You can't be out here in 2015 wearing these mother panties masquerading them as goddamn shorts. I got no business seeing all your goddamn flesh and the goddamn hairs off your goddamn vagina. But you gonna tell me be a real man when you got fake hair, fake breasts, fake nails, fake eyelash, everything about you got today is artificial.
Cliche.
Who pissed in his cereal? Hot damn.
Another nation.
Hold on.
She's a sexual predator. But she wanna.
He really, in seriousness, he just called women sexual predators because they dress a certain way. Let's go back because we're gonna have to get really speed. We're gonna be careful. First off, your perspective.
I'm sorry. I'm sure that we've been going off on this whole thing because
that tells you if you look at sleeves, either if you how.
I'm trying to find the part where all it was he equated women to sexual predators because how dress. Yeah, this is how angry these men are about women expressing themselves or being dressed a certain way. It's so. Here's the thing: is that you were saying, okay, listen, just be modest, but this is how bad it gets. So, can you speak to that? And I know we're in almost 2.5 hours, y'all. Man, I didn't realize it was gonna go this long. Let's just tell me what you think about what he said.
I think he's extreme, honestly. I think he must have been hurt.
That part. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It sounds like he might have a couple of CDVs under his belt. Criminal domestic violence charges. You know, you know, I don't know. I can't call it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's wild. You know, I don't see what I mean. I know it's like I think there's ways that I think there's certain things within our community that have pitted us against each other. Man and woman. You know what I'm saying? You know, and we can argue all day about what those things are. Oh, the system incentivizes this and does that and blah blah blah. You know, and at the end of the day, I kind of try to just focus on how can I be a better example, you know, for my son and my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And for other young people around. If they ask me, like, you know, young guy who teach martial arts to here and there, he comes over and he's about 16, you know what I'm saying, and he comes over and asks me questions about life. His dad is not in his life. There's other male role models in his life, but he feels comfortable asking me about, you know what I'm saying, issues when it comes to girls and things like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And the only thing I can do is try to give him the best, you know, the best information, you know, and advice that I can that will benefit him and give him the opportunity to make the right choices, you know, type of women that you're going to want to be, because he's a soft-hearted kind of person. So you're not going to want to deal with somebody who might have, you know, been, who might have some emotional traumas and stuff like that. And I think that's what a lot of this stuff comes from too, even, you know, on both sides. There's a lot of emotional traumas going on. And so, and we take out the pain of it on each other. And I'm going to say, even with me, I have emotional traumas, you know what I'm saying? I'm a child of divorce. My father, you know what I'm saying, and my mother, you know, broke up early. They had freaking very tumultuous relationship. My mom went through a lot of things. You know, we came up in the era where, you know what I'm saying, it was okay to be heavy-handed when you were disciplining your children, which I don't believe in for that reason, you know what I'm saying? But and there's a lot of folks who are just angry, you know. Can I say that there are parts of our culture that are unhealthy on both sides, male and female? I can say that, right? You know, I don't particularly like the sexy reds and stuff like. I'm an Erykah Badu dude. I love
that part. Yeah,
I'm into the, you know, the Lauryn Hills and the, you know what I'm saying. But I'm old school. I guess I sound like my father and my uncles back in the day when they was laughing at the music that we was listening to at the time, because they was all into the, you know, the Ron Isleys and the, you know what I'm saying, you know, Patti LaBelle's and all that. You know, I love that music too, you know, and I think that I think we've gotten away from that stuff too. Like, everything has become over sexualized. Everything has become, and so what happens when certain music and lyrics are promoting certain behaviors, and young men don't know how to control their appetites, or control their desires, and you know, the young ladies who are, you know, just becoming young adults, you know what I'm saying, don't understand, you know, this and that, and it's going to equal a baby, and y'all ain't even mentally in a state where y'all can be there. And then here we are with another broken family, broken home, young girl with you know, listen, we came up in that time period where there was you know, it was like a freaking epidemic of young girls getting pregnant.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know, like 14 and 15. You know what I'm saying? It's still, they didn't even graduate high school. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think that that was by design, you know, to have us in a position where
most definitely by design. Listen, we have gone 2.5 hours. I did not realize that. Listen, we're going to get like a final word from Queen Tai, and then we're going to let Zion Warchild like close it out. This has been a great live. I love it. It was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
All right, so let's go. Go ahead.
I want to say to Mr. Zion, first and foremost, I love your energy. I love your spirit. You are definitely, we will mess with you about, you know, the rapping or whatever, but you are definitely an melanated man that I could listen to. about the issues of relationships, and in your knowledge about your belief system and your history and all of that. You're definitely somebody that I could sit down at the table and eat from, and not be offended or anything. Like, I could just talk to you about anything. So I am so grateful that I got to catch the show. I enjoyed myself. I want to encourage you to keep on keeping on, keep on, trying to help those brothers come together. And you're just boiling over with love. You just have such a love energy, like you love people. And I think that's what really drew me into the show. So I thank you for your energy. I thank you for your knowledge. And I pray that the Most High, that Spirit will continue to bless you. In Genesis, this has been another fantastic show. Thank you for letting me come on.
Thank you, Queen Tai. And she's going to be back here on Tuesday.
Okay.
Talking more about hoodoo, African spirituality, witchcraft, whether or not it is. Is it witchcraft? Is it not? What is witchcraft? Right?
Right.
She's going to be talking about that. So, let's go. Let's hear what you're in.
Naturally, I appreciate everything. The conversation was great. I love to laugh and smile more than I like to yell and cut up. Which is what a lot of times you get into when you go into some of these rooms with so much testosterone, you know what I mean? I appreciate the conversation. Yes, I think the community needs to, right now, I really feel like our community is truly under attack, to be divided, to continually divide. And they keep trying to divide and keep making, so we got Israelites, you know what I'm saying, it came out of one thing, and then of course you're going to have people, and now all of a sudden they're divided against each other, and now you got Israelites who say that America's Israel, and you got the Abos who say no, and this ain't this, and it's just like a hot mess going on in our community, and it's not, it cannot be beneficial. You know what? I think one of the most important things that I've heard recently, and I've heard it before in my time, is a lot of white folk will say, like one time this mafia dude was talking to a black guy who was like a gangbanger type dude, and he said, the problem with niggas.
That's the problem with niggas.
Right. He said, you guys you can't organize. And I was about to get offended until he said that. So the Chinese and the Japanese, they can organize. They might disagree amongst each other, but when it comes time to freaking, get this, that, and the other going, they do it, right? They get it together. Same thing with the mobsters and the mafia and stuff. You need criminal freaking enterprises, not to support, any of that. But I think it was in a movie that I heard it, and I've heard it regurgitated multiple times, and it's been like, and I can see that it's like, was that a true thing that they said about us, or was it something that they wanted to be true? I think it's true at this point. Whether it was, I think when we were like, 1960s, 1920s, 1930s, we had a lot more unity. Folks would take care of each other's kids. You know what I'm saying? Your mom wasn't at home. We came home from school and she's at work. You know what I'm saying? Somebody in the neighborhood still had your back and made sure that you guys were good.
Oh no! Now they'll call CPS on you. They'll call CPS on you quick.
You don't have that.
You didn't. Your kids ain't taken care of.
Community is not community anymore. It's just not. And we're divided. We are so divided, and I think that we need more people trying to build to bridge gaps. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make these connections with our young people, with our, different groups. I don't care what it is. Somebody needs to be bridging some gaps here, especially right now with this whole administration and stuff going on. It makes no sense for us to be divided against each other and have this enemy upon our necks. So, with that said, and I love the conversation. I kind of I get shy away from some of the male and female talk, because I ain't no, Kevin Samuels. I ain't no ladies man, you know what I'm saying? I ain't no pimp. I've been married and I had a couple of, long-term relationships. I think I had like 4 long-term relationship, 110, 19, 18, you know what I'm saying? That was all at one. That wasn't all at one time, I don't know what I would have done if it was like, you know, all four in the same house. I don't think I can handle that.
Lord have mercy.
Niggas like, yeah, I want 4 wives. Like, yo, more power to you, brother.
Right, man, listen.
I have a hard time with one.
Where can we find you at? Where can we find your information at? Where can we find you?
I'm just, you know, right now I'm just kind of, I never built my own platform as far as like YouTube. I mean, I have a YouTube page. Y'all can find me Lone Wolf and Lion Cub on YouTube. Y'all see me sometimes in the chat on HOK and stuff like that. Lone Wolf and Lion Cub is my YouTube channel, but I haven't really posted anything. I was planning on it, but I kind of enjoy like going to other people's platforms and you know what I'm saying, and having a conversation on other people's platforms, you know what I'm saying, HOK and what's the other one, the other brothers, Paradigm Shift 315, and you know what I'm saying, having conversations with
a new woman said, what? Build your platform, please.
Right. I'll try. You know, I just like, I'm not.
Yeah,
like,
I think we done found a match. Hey, a new woman. If you want his number,
hello, hallelujah.
Just go ahead, let me know, and I'll connect y'all.
She's a lovely lady.
Mm-hmm. All right, listen. This was awesome. This was awesome. I loved it. Look, it's a smile for me, Lord. Oh, let me find out I'm like gonna be a love match, okay? If it's come on now, I'm gonna connect y'all to. Much love to listen, the conscious community love maker, the matchmaker of the conscious community. Let me I'll do that, Genesis. All right, y'all. I thank you, whoever stayed for this long. Shouts out. It's been 2 hours. Absolutely. Much love.
Much love.
Zion Warchild. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, DJ Genesis. I enjoyed myself. And thank you.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. My friend, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.